What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
And Tangela. You get two for the price of none today, but it's so wonderful to actually be sitting next to you.
It's so fun because usually we're on Zoom together, but today we are live together in person, which is great.
And every one of our guests tonight are going to be people coming from the Evolutionary Leaders Network meeting. The conference is still going on. It's probably going to end in about an hour, and then people are going to be coming in. We are going to have a couple of people that hopefully come on before then that said they'd try and get here early, but everybody wants to stay for the conference. So we're going to also interact with all of you a little bit in the beginning, but let's do two things. We're going to go to Omashar for our opening song. And while we're doing that, please put into the chat box where you are geographically and what you'd like to share. And we're going to have time to, I'll go certainly to any of you that have some announcements maybe. We'll go to Christy Michaels. I know she wants to talk a little bit about her Mary Magdalene show or event that's coming up. I always say Tangela is Mary Magdalene. I mean, this is what Mary Magdalene looked like, don't you think? So you're Mary Magdalene to me.
Well, I definitely have her energy and have her as my guide. So I really appreciate that. And she's with all of us here, Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, especially right now.
Absolutely, right now in this time. I wanted to kind of introduce about what's going on with this incredible HoloMovement. But let's go straight to some music. There he is. Hello, Omashar.
Hi there, aloha and namaste, and how awesome to be in Sedona. Even though I'm in Colorado, but I feel like I'm in Sedona. There's so much energy pumping out of there. It did snow here last night, so that was interesting. I thought it was over and done with. So it's gone from like 15 degrees down to minus, so whatever. So I'm gonna play a song, and it's called "The Flower of Life." What a concept! And it's the title track of my album, The Flower of Life, and it is a contemplative song, Eleanor Joy. So it doesn't have any kind of beat, so you can do some rainbow children movement, or maybe even a slow waltz. Why not? Who knows? So here we go. Let's see what happens, shall we? born of this earth, seeded with light. You are the ones who've chosen. Be here in peace. Live life in truth. Shine forth your love and show the way. The flower of life, the ancient of days, into the void we travel. Know who you are. You've come a long way. You're a bright shining star. Divine you are. Watch what you think. Let yourself feel. Heed the small voice within you. You are the way. You are the light.
Beautiful.
Thank you, everybody, for all the beautiful dancing, seeing everybody moving. Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow. I'm going to put the spotlight back on you, Omar Shar.
It was quite funny because I have two screens here, and one of the screens was just you two, Scott and Tangela, swaying and laughing, and it was just such joy came through. And anyway, thank you. Yeah,
Oh, great.
I love playing that song. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, a reminder that we can support Omar Shar by going to his website on Bandcamp, omarshar.bandcamp. And you said the song that you just played was from this album, Flower of Life.
It's the title track of the Flower of Life, exactly.
Wow.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so everybody, come on now. If you haven't bought Flower of Life, now is the time to go there, buy it, support him. It's only $9 for the whole album. And I think it'd be wonderful for us to support Omar Shar when he's going to play at least one or two more songs for us tonight. So, and he's going to be with us at the LA retreat.
Yes, exciting.
I'm really excited about that.
I think what I'm going to do, we're going to introduce Christina is with us in a moment, but let's talk about Sedona. I took this photograph 10 minutes ago. This is just part of the view that we have. That literally we're up on the top of a mountain, and there's this incredible 180-degree view that's all like this. So you live in Sedona now. What's that like for you?
It's amazing. The energy here is just off the charts. I know a lot of our Global Peace Tribers were able to join us here in Sedona a couple of months ago. And I'm sure all of you guys can agree that the energy here is so powerful. I mean, you just saw that photo that Scott took of our view. And, you know, for me, it's like just driving around, looking at this view, you are constantly in awe and wonder, because it's just a constant reminder how incredible the Creator is, and just how vast and expansive and mysterious and amazing the whole universe is. And so living here in that energy of constant awe and wonder, I think is just incredible.
Yeah. I gotta say, I love Sedona. I've been here for almost a month now, and there's two amazing things about Sedona. One is the incredible physical beauty, but I also gotta say the community here. Every night, no, really, every night, there's something really cool happening, and it's not at bars and clubs. No. It's in people's homes. It's ceremony every night. We're having a Thursday afternoon at 5:15 p.m. ceremony.
Ecstatic dance, ceremony, meditations, activations, just gathering together intentionally, like to celebrate Gaia. There's so much like beautiful, intentional gatherings here every day, pretty much. Like it's amazing.
Which is a perfect segue for our first guest.
Yeah.
So let's create a little space.
Sure, yeah.
Christina in here. This is Christina Fior.
Hello. Thank you for letting me crash your party.
Welcome, Christina. Come on in.
Thank you.
And she and her partner publish the Sedona magazine.
Here we are. This is this issue, Spirit of Sedona.
Spirit of Sedona
magazine. And speaking of Sedona, this is a really beautiful magazine, because this one is focused on honoring our ancient connection to Mother Gaia, and through Sedona in particular. And so we go all the way back to Lemuria. It's very exciting.
So tell us a little bit about that. What is the history of Sedona as you know it, from kind of a more cosmic point of view? Right.
Well, Sedona is considered to be sacred land. A lot of the indigenous tribes coming from, ancient lineages have come here to really do ceremonies. As a matter of fact, Sedona in particular was used strictly for ceremony, and they lived in outer-lying areas.
Yeah, the indigenous people actually didn't live here because the energy was so intense.
Yeah, yeah. And so now that we've come here, people are feeling the echoing of many chants and prayers from ancient times, and the lore is that Lemuria itself has kind of embodied here. Like if you look at particularly the rocks that you were showing, and you can see all of the lines. These were ancient lands that were actually largely covered in water.
So you show the water level, those are all water level lines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now, as these rocks have emerged, it is said that the Lemurians, who kind of migrated away, some of those who survived migrated to South America, and many of them came up to New Mexico and Arizona, and actually those who were the sacred practitioners and the wisdom keepers actually encoded a lot of the wisdom of ancient Lemuria into the crystalline energy of the rocks of Sedona.
Beautiful. Now, what's it like living here and publishing 3 different magazines that are like kind of how people, it's like the Sedona guide.
How you find out. Yeah, we have a Spirit Sedona magazine, Sedona Food and Wine, and I should really get Kaz in here to introduce this. But, and then we have one on Tour Sedona. So that really gives you an opportunity to really look at what kind of tour do I want to do of Sedona? Do I want to do an air tour? Do I want to do a land tour, balloon tour? Do I really want to do yoga on the Red Rocks? Do I want to really learn about the ancient ceremonies that can be done on the Red Rocks and really tune into that energy that Sedona uniquely embodies? Yeah.
And Christina is also an author. And she had a dinner party, as I said, every night. There's something going on in Sedona. And a few nights ago, she was the host of a dinner party that Tangela and I and others were at. And I learned that she's written a really cool book. And I said, you got to come on and show. Well, that's a cool book.
Thank you.
So,
well, first of all, it was so fun having you. We didn't stop laughing. So much fun.
Just to introduce Christina, because Christina is one of our amazing soul searchers. And she is actually not just, the editor and co-creator of Spirit of Sedona magazine, Sedona Food and Wine, and Sedona Tours, but she's actually a transformational coach, an intuitive guide, relationship coach, love coach. So she has incredible gifts in terms of spiritual and intuitive guidance, and has been doing this for like over 30 years. So, really a lot of profound and amazing wisdom that she brings through, and also works with people when they come to visit Sedona as well. And so, just wanted to introduce Christina as multifaceted and multi-talented as she is. And that's why, she's been able to bring forth these incredible books for us.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have to tell you, this book, Supernatural Love Medicine, was a 10-year journey. And I remember when I was in the midst of doing this in the early stages, somebody said, you need to write a Kindle book. Kindle is the latest thing. And so I put this one aside and I said, what is a subject that would be a good precursor to this book? Because this is a deep dive into the soul of woman. So I wrote a book called Self-Love, A Woman's Book of Healing and Inspiration. And this has really been designed this was, I did this when I was in my own self-love journey. And I worked with a lot of women that seemed to be the bottom line. The central theme of self-worth, and really understanding our place in the world and the importance of our place in the world. And so this is meant to be a compassionate guide for anyone who is struggling with self-love, and anyone is going through a heartbreak or a sense of, separation from their tribe or their people in their world, where they feel like they're the only ones that are having a deep soul journey. So this one is really meant to acknowledge and to offer some really beautiful rituals, as well as a more spiritual perspective on self-love. And then this book, Supernatural Love Medicine, this is the book of my heart. Oh, okay. Do you see that?
There they are.
And you can get them both on Amazon. And this is a deep dive. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I'm just gonna run through a few points that I think you might find of interest.
Yeah, as far as whatever, what are some tips or tools that our audience can apply?
The one thing that I think I'd like to just underscore in this book is that women are meant to be magical. And we're not just meant to, cook food, raise kids, have a career. We, throughout time, we have been obscured from our deepest magic. And we have so many resources at our disposal. And one of the things that I like to emphasize is that our intrinsic connection with nature, with the natural world, with embodying that in the food that we eat, in the rituals that we do, just in honoring the company that we keep, and being able to really connect deeply and profoundly with Source through a variety of things that are underscored in this book, we will be able to light the magic not only in ourselves, but in everyone else. Right. And so I go into just so many different things. I talk about, one of the things that I feel very connected with is the goddess of love, Venus, Aphrodite, but the evolved Aphrodite. So many of the challenges that women face, I have found in my own journey and in working with women, is that there's a conflict between our Aphrodite and our psyche nature. Aphrodite being, the woman who lures the seed of man to her womb, the sensual goddess, the beautiful woman, and the Aphrodite who is so pure and so innocent, and she feels isolated from the world because people can't relate to her and relate to the deepest core of who she is. And so there's a journey that we as women go through between our Aphrodite and psyche nature. And I'm not trying to paint too broad of a brushstroke, but I think that if you are on a path to really discovering self-love in the deepest core of love within you, you might find some relevance to that part of the journey. But that's not it. There's so much more to this. I really go into so many, amazing things. I have to remind myself to discovering your inner queendom and really understanding what that means, embodying nature's intelligence. And that's really understanding the intelligence of food and the intelligence of the cellular structure of food, and understanding photosynthesis and the colors of food, the rainbow. Every food has an intelligence to it that speaks to every part of our body. Understanding our entelechy, which is our inner innate intelligence that we were encoded with at birth and before birth. We have this plumb line between our higher self and the part of us, just the portion of us that's having a human experience, right? So I talk a lot about that. I talk about how to build your torus field, your energetic field. It's like this energetic donut around us that continually replicates. And that is through grounding and through really reaching to the heavens and really understanding that plumb line of energy that we always have. The grander part of ourselves, the most beautiful, anything that you can imagine about yourself that you would aspire to be, it's already there. It's already in your divine blueprint. So it's just a matter now of just bringing that in and embodying it unapologetically, because we came here in this life to do that, right?
Absolutely.
No apologies, brothers and sisters. It's our time.
I love
to
it.
really embody it fully.
Absolutely.
Because the world needs it. The world is hoping for it. Even if you come across people that are envious or putting you down, it's because they can't see that in themselves. So it's time now to really bring this forward in the most magical ways. We need your magic. And so if you'd like a guidebook that will help inspire that, there's many stories and rituals. I have my own personal stories in here, lots of rituals. So I hope this can be very helpful to anyone who really wants to be brave, braver than you've ever thought you would be possible, and to bring that forward.
And I'm hoping we're going to find it easily on.
Oh, okay. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what? Amazon, for some reason, has been blocking my clients' reviews. So it's not quite up there as much as it can be. So I'd love
There it is.
I'd love for you to read it, and if you like it, please review it and let me know if Amazon blocks another review. I think they have a new thing that if you're not a Prime member, they don't They
Well,
don't allow you to review. So anyway, that's my theory on that.
there
But-
it is. Supernatural love
Wow.
medicine. Ignite your supreme feminine potential.
And look at a shoe. You get a shoe.
You know, one of the things about being all together is it's great to be all together, but then you're going to see,
Well,
Jill and I, when we're like having to respond to people and, you know, so it's, you get to see a little bit more behind the scenes. As well, I've got to focus on whoever's talking while I'm like scrambling to find it on Amazon or whatever it might be. So it's going to be one of those shows. A couple of quick things. Omashar, I'm going to actually ask you if you can log out as Scott Katamas and log back in as Omashar. That would be great. Because it's getting confused when I try and chat. People say, it says Scott Katamas and all that. And Christine Michaels, I'm going to go to you in a moment. So be prepared. We're going to let you talk a little bit about perfect lead in.
Mhm.
But if anybody has any thoughts or questions for Christina, now would be a good time to ask. Carol writes, Christine is a perfect guest for our tribe. She is speaking our language.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Definitely.
How
Yeah.
can I get on here? Hello. Oh, shoot.
Hi.
That sounds like Wowza.
Yes.
I think I hear Wowza's voice.
Yes.
Are you wanting to say something, Wowza?
Yes. I want to celebrate Christina, my friend from right here. And the book is glorious. I particularly love the essential oil. Every one had its own scent. I mean, I could actually feel it coming through the pages, you know.
Oh.
And it's a deliciousness in it. No, it
Thank you, Wowza.
tickles you sensorily. And I'm just so delighted, you know, that we're friends and we are kicking ass.
Yes, yes. And I have to say, if I may, that I have a little section here about Wowza, because Wowza and I have done a deep dive together. And I just have to say, one thing I wrote in my book is that Wowza has rocked my very polite world with her outrageous medicine.
Yay.
Like we're jumping into the room. Like right now, it's like, okay, you got a person getting there. Kids don't do this at home. Wowza specials. That's the. But you know, Wowza is going to be with us, Tangela, in Los Angeles.
Wonderful. Excited to see you there soon.
And so that's a good opportunity just to remind everybody that it's coming up next week, the Global Peace Tribe Next Retreat in West Los Angeles. We still have room available, and some of those people you see are going to be with us. Paul Sterling, Sri and Kira, Bob and Pookie, Trish, Tangela, Larissa Stowe, and many, many, many other friends are going to be with us. Wowza is going to be doing a couple of things with Connie and Andrew and Maureen. And I think Connie and Andrew are going to be on the show tomorrow to drop in for a little bit. So we're really looking forward to being with you next week, Wowza.
Yes, definitely excited to see you there. Wow, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, Christina. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Lovely to see
Having
you both.
join us here.
Absolutely.
And all of you guys can check out Supernatural Love Medicine.
I'll go back to Amazon one more time.
Exactly.
There we go. Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna we'll go off this for a minute. Christy Michaels, I am gonna bring you up to talk a little bit about what's coming up, and then we're gonna do a little light touch and have Omashar do another song in a moment. But there's Christy. Hi, Christy. You've got to unmute, dear.
Yeah, it's so wonderful, Tangela, to be with the Magdalene and you.
Oh, so
Because
wonderful.
you are truly an exemplary. And if I was to paint a picture of Magdalene, she would look like you, because she was a Middle Eastern woman, you know.
That's true. That's true.
So
So tell
Yes,
us,
I
I'm going to bring
appreciate
it up on, tell us, Christy, about what you've got planned.
oh, we got some fabulous dancers dancing this song of Sophia to bring in the emanations of the divine feminine. and just raise it up. We've got internationally famous artists who are coming, and we're going to have 8 beautifully divine feminine altars. Judith Anadea is going to do an altar, and Shiloh Sophia and the Cosmic Cowgirls, and Sue Ellen Parker, who has been painting for Kayleen Osbo, who's actually got a concert going on right now, which who would normally be there, is the woman who's been painting the stories that have been told now that were suppressed. So you see Magdalene is on her knees on the sand and the shores, and she's written in Hebrew because she was a Jewish woman, and she practiced the Jewish preaching and teachings, and she carried the oils, and she wrote the word peace, because this is her teaching, it's the teaching, and this is the shores of the south of France, where there's now well documented evidence that she was there. But many of the people who come on this show, Scott, are people who channel and whatnot. And somebody asked us, because this is our 13th year, and somebody asked me, well, why does it have to be Magdalene's Moonrise Easter? Why don't you just make it, the rise of the divine feminine at Easter? And so I said, oh, that's interesting. So we have about, I don't know, 3 or 4 women who are professionally channelers of Mary Magdalene. I asked each one of them individually if they would go and have a channeling session and see what Mary Magdalene thinks about whether we should take her name out and just have it be. Every single one came back with a really powerful video, but they all said exactly the same thing.
Wow.
Which I thought was really interesting, because they're not all of the same genre or the same venue in terms of their own spiritual practice and modalities and whatnot. But the message was, it's a both and, because yes, we are supposed to be our own avatars, and yes, we are supposed to rise and claim that. But what we missed out by not allowing her for all these past 2,000 years to be taught in the way that, and the authenticity of who she is, the modeling. And so you just heard a woman has written a whole book about self-love for women, because self-love and low self-esteem for women has been a crisis in America. I remember one day I woke up and in my morning meditations, and I said, what would you have me know, or what would you have me do? And I heard, go to Marianne Williamson's website. And I opened it up, and up came Marianne's conference, which was called the Sister Giant Conference. So I grabbed my daughter, we flew down there. The first night, Marianne said, we're going to talk about witch burning. We need to talk about witch burning, because witch burning shut us up. And so, and this is what's happened to women in America. We don't realize it. And then when I got home from that trip, my cousin, who is a genealogy nut, and he's written this thick book of who begat who and my whole family lineage, he said, you won't believe this. He said, I finally traced back through your grandmother on your father's side to Salem, Massachusetts, to the incident of the burning of the witches at the stake. So somebody in my lineage saw that, informed her child, who informed her child, who informed her child, and here I am today to raise up the witches, the beautiful, inspired, divine feminine. So thank you, Scott, so much for your love and support of all of this. And Tangela, you've been awesome in the support of the Magdalene. I love you so much, and I really appreciate it. Everybody go to gospelofmarymagdalene.info. It's going to be live streamed, and it will also be on live in person as well. So, and we have fabulous musicians. We got Gary Malcolm, and just scroll down is all you have to do, and it'll be all, it's all under there as you scroll down.
So everybody go again. It's gospelofmarymagdalene.info. Gospelofmarymagdalene.info. I'll put that into the chat box.
Wonderful. And thank you so much, Christy, for all your work and for spreading the message, Mary Magdalene's message, because you're so right. The crisis we have of, women not loving themselves is a global crisis. It's not even just, here in the United States, but it's, all over the world. We have been taught to be someone who we're not,
Right.
and not accept who we are as these perfect divine beings. And so this is, we're in this new age of Aquarius. We're here to break through all of those old programs that have been passed down for eons at this point. So
yeah, I know. And if you buy your ticket now early, you get a free gift. I have a video I made. Some of you know Dr. Joe Dispenza and the work that he's doing. Well, I'm listening to one of his meditation tapes where he's trying to explain to people what happens when people come to this week-long training. And all of a sudden, people are popping into spontaneous remissions. And he's now had done over 8,000 brain scans, and he's brought the scientists in, he's brought the universities in, he's brought HeartMath Institute in, so they can document what is happening when people do this level of meditation in this specific way that he teaches it, because it's what healed him. So he's explaining this. Okay, first thing, step one, da 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 da. And I'm going, wait a minute, that's straight out of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And then he goes, and then this will happen. And so then the next step is you do this, this, and this. And I went, whoa, that's too uncanny. That's another step right out of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. So I created a YouTube video, which you get as a free gift, which is called Dr. Joe Dispenza Meet Mary Magdalene.
Oh, that's great.
And it is taking off. It's got tens of thousands of views now.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Because,
great.
yeah, it's really hit a core, because it's bringing that sweet spot of science and science from a spirituality point together with the ancient texts, the ancient materials, the thing that we missed finding out all along the way. We could have had this exemplary model that my mother could have said, honey, let me tell you about the story of this enlightened, empowered woman and how she did it and how she contributed and what a fantastic being she was for teaching the way of love. But my mother didn't know, we didn't have that. My mother couldn't even vote when she was born.
But now we have Christy and her program. We have to move forward.
And we have Tangela.
And we have Tangela, and we have a lot of amazing people that are going to be on the show tonight. So, Christy, thank you so much. April 9th, go live for those of you in the Bay Area to send to Unity of Novato, Unity of Marin in Novato, or go to the live stream.
Come live. I will come live to your event.
Oh, right. Yay. That'll be fabulous. It'll be wonderful to see
You're going to have Mary Magdalene. Have her come as Mary Magdalene.
Hey, listen, she's following her inner guidance, let me tell you.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, dear. Blessings.
Lots of love.
It's time for light touch.
Yes, I'm excited.
It's time for some light touch. And I just want to acknowledge that the creator of Light Touch is in the audience with us. There's Jay Mayer. He's in the pyramid of the Light Touch pyramid. So Jay, we're going to have, I'm sure play a song in a moment. While he's playing, we're going to have people do Light Touch. I see that Nitya and Sylvia are already, they've got their feathers. They're all ready for Light Touch. So that's going to be great. But tell us a little bit briefly about Light Touch, and then I'm sure plays will all do Light Touch.
Well, it's great to be here. Light touch is just, it's a form of prayer. It's I call it invoking, where we're actually bringing it in. Prayer is kind of goes out. Invocation, we bring it in. We bring in good fortune. We always have a request. It's not about just the touch. It's about adding a request, and that the touch is magical because you're actually turning on your electromagnetic system that connects you to the invisible realm. So, just ask for whatever is important. I like to bless everyone watching, because when everyone starts feeling better, I feel better. And that helps the planet. It goes out and affects our families, and our families affect our lineage and our ancestors. And it's just great to, have something that can actually help people's lives in meaningful ways.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Well,
add a little request when you feel that magical tingle.
so I'm bringing Omashar on to play some music. Sylvia and Nitya, I've got the camera on you as well, so you can demonstrate. So the two of you can demonstrate what it's like when there's two people. Jay, you'll demonstrate what it's like with just one person. And Omashar, what song do you have for us? Oh, beautiful.
Called Bridging Heaven and Earth. And another song which is kind of relevant to every show we actually do, Scott. So, but definitely it's a now song. So, but it's got a little bit of rhythm to it. So probably, well, we won't say it. I will say it. Probably the first song was a good light touch song, but this one is a lively light touch song.
We shed the cross of ages, revealing light within the fall. We share the joy of living, as finally we know. No thought about a future. This moment is all we have to know. We walk the path together, and hand in hand we grow. As we walk on earth, we're building an eternity. Now all can see the way back home again, bridging heaven and earth. And now the way is clearer as we rejoice in human fall. Our lives becoming dearer. There's truth in everyone. Our love is like a river to which the world can come to drink. An ocean when together, and with one mind we think. as we walk on earth. We're building an eternity. Now all can see the way back home again, bridging heaven and earth. As we walk on earth, we're building an eternity. Now all can see the way back home again, bridging heaven and earth.
Let's go to gallery review, everybody, and Twinkle, beloved Omashar, and everybody for doing light touch. Thank you, Omashar. It's really, really fun. That's really, really fun. And thank you, Jay Mayer, for creating light touch. Where's Jay? I'll bring him on for one last moment here. There he is. And I really appreciate all the different ways that people are doing light touch, whether it's with feathers or stuffed animals. Like, look at Sylvia right now. I love that. There she is. She's got her special, is that a penguin?
Panda.
A panda. That's a panda, of course.
The penguin disguised as a panda.
It's a penguin disguised as a panda. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you, Jay.
Tangela, tell us about the psychic fair you've got planned.
Okay, well, yes, we have that coming up next Sunday as part of the Global Peace Tribe Retreat, and also open for everyone to come. It is free to attend. So if you are in the Southern California area, definitely come by. It is Sunday, April 2nd, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Hilton Los Angeles Airport Hotel. And we are going to have incredible readers there, spiritual guides, transformative health technologies. We have incredible talks all day that are free. We have Kimberly Meredith. She's going to be there giving an incredible talk on healing and actually doing some mini readings with people in the audience. So you'll have a chance. I know all of you have seen Kimberly Meredith on this show, but you'll actually get a chance to see her live in LA at the Psychic Fair. We'll have Victoria Reynolds there talking about recreating the new earth, and Linda McKenzie speaking about our psychic abilities, discovering our psychic abilities. So all kinds of incredible talks. We have a ceremony. Yuri Lee will be actually hosting a breathwork ceremony at the end of the day. So really invite all of you guys to come in and connect with us in person live Sunday, April 2nd at the Hilton LAX Hotel. And you can just go to soulsearch.io, Los Angeles Psychic Fair to register. We'll be posting our whole talk schedule on Monday. So you'll be able to see that there, and you can connect with all of our incredible teachers, healers, and guides in person. So it's going to be a great and fun event. So
It's going to be amazing.
Can't wait. Oh my God. This is the first time we've actually done in 3 years a show side by side.
Really?
Yes, only 3 years.
Like 3 years we're doing it. And we've known each other since 1980. We've all heard the story. So
But isn't this is historic for us? For me,
It
it's
is.
like
It is.
side by side here, actually, because it's on my live YouTube channel, New Reality.
We love New Realities TV. Thank you
Yes.
for hearing every
Right
show.
from the
Thank you
beginning.
from the
Yes,
beginning.
and good to see you. Don't you look nice?
Magdalene.
She
loves Mary. We were talking about that.
That's right. And we've been, oh, sorry you missed the fun this weekend, but next year.
Yes,
Did you
yes.
tell people where we were this week?
Well, a little bit, but
Okay.
I was waiting for you to get here, and now we're going to
Okay.
kind of go into it.
All
So,
right.
some of you are aware, like maybe you've seen my posts, that Alan and I, along with 75 other members of the Evolutionary Leaders Network, are at this Igniting the HoloMovement here in Sedona, Arizona. And it's actually a working retreat. 75 of us are gathering together, really launching this whole movement. I mean, it started as a book, but it's going to be a huge movement that all of you are going to hopefully be involved in. We're finding really creative ways to engage the world with understanding the oneness of consciousness.
So what is the hollow?
A hollow movement was a name that David Bohm, the physicist, the
Mhm.
quantum physics, came up with to describe the implicate order of all existence,
Oh, wow.
past, present, and future.
Tell the audience.
It's all one thing, if you haven't noticed. We're all connected to each other, time, space, subject, object. There really is no division. So on a physics term, David Bohm came up with the term hollow movement. And there's an implicate order which underlies what we see around us, which he called the explicate order. The explicate order is the surface. The implicate order is what's underneath that connects all of us. In the hollow movement, and as we discovered today, it's not a destination, it's a process.
Mhm.
So
It's a journey that we're all in. We're all in this awakening world, whatever you want to call it. We're all coming into awakening of who we truly are. Letting go the shame, the myths, the bullshit that got put on top of us, and really remembering that we all are one extraordinary divine expression of life.
exactly. And from that place, which we were supposed to incarnate into, that oneness, and build from there, that just puts us at a level playing field so we can build the true purpose of incarnation, which I feel is to create.
Exactly.
Create
And to
beauty.
enjoy life.
Yes.
And to learn lessons of love.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So me and you, Scott, we're in a very special little division of this whole
We're calling it the
visibility
group, but it's really media. It's like, how do we reach the world? And Alan is one of the key people in that. And he put together a wonderful slideshow about the history of media. And so I think I've downloaded it properly.
Good.
Because I said, hey, we got to show this to my Awakening World audience.
All right.
Because we're
I
open
know, I
right
want to get
now.
your feedback.
So now let's see. What we want to do is go to play.
Started.
Well, hold on, but I gotta get
This is
back.
just-
Okay, now we gotta share screen, go here, press play.
Okay, so this is kind of just some notes because it's not really a PowerPoint, but media, what is media? Why are we so obsessed? We are drowning in a sea of social media, right, Tangela?
Yes, definitely.
We're being bombarded by it because we're so, well, first of all, media informs us of the world. That's like why we're always looking around us. It helps us understand who we are, our location, the broader environment. It connects us to community and it makes us feel safe.
Ideally.
Safe too, right. Curiosity is our natural state. Our biology, our what all animals are doing, they're constantly scanning the environment and integrating new information so they can feel safe. You know, and dopamine, did you know that is created when we receive new information?
So let's slow down.
Okay.
Let's slow down.
I'll take a breath. Thank
Take
you.
a breath.
Okay.
That's really interesting. That's something I didn't even realize until I watched his presentation. Dopamine is created when we receive new information.
Wow.
Therefore, that's one of the reasons why we're scanning our computers or our cell phones, looking for something new to get a dopamine rush.
Absolutely. That's why, those little short chats on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, I can just be lost for hours because I'm getting new information. I don't even know what I'm seeing. All I know is I'm getting dopamine.
And it's the first time you've seen that dog pooping on the TikTok or whatever it is.
Right. So that's the problem. We have a dopamine addiction to that kind of sensation. We can get dopamine by being creative, by being in the present moment, by going into a meditation alpha state, but we're being force-fed this type of thing that really, in a sense, means nothing.
Now, on the other hand, what's beautiful is what he has written there is that new art, new science, new media awakens. It awakens. What is this? The awakening world. It awakens new patterns of perception.
And new patterns of perception, before we get to this, is why how we see the world through patterns. It's really how we understand beyond words. We understand the world with our right brain through patterns of perception.
But unfortunately,
it went downhill with CNN, all news all the time. Give me more information? This was in the 80s. This is where the slow slide into social media addiction began. All news all the time. Of course, there was a radio station, WINS.
So I think, we're actually moving out of this now with this new age of Aquarius, but media has been dominated by consumerism.
Right.
And so a lot of the media is meant to sell. So not just products, but how we should look, how we should live, how we should behave. The world is unsafe, all of our separation. And so, there's just been this, not that all media is bad, but it has been perpetuating this old paradigm. But now, as we're entering this new paradigm, we have these new opportunities.
Right, but don't confuse. Marshall McLuhan says the medium is the message. So when you get this information, it forms a neural net awareness. And you say something, and it's hard to convince people that it's not true. It's the Mark Twain. It's easier to fool the people because they're getting input than to say, wait a minute, what you just saw, because it's already imprinted in the brain. So this is how we're born, with this incredible imagination. And by the time we're 5 years old, we get imprinted with a somatic reality. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C.
I love this particular image. So there's a little child where it's all color, and that's how it is the first few years when we're an infant. We're like seeing like blues and all sorts of things, and then we start getting educated.
Boxed in.
Which box is this in?
We need to categorize the world, but we also have to know that's a fabric. That's another level of media. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. That's okay for making our way through the world. That's left brain, but the right brain gets totally thrown out in the garbage.
The imagination.
Yes.
Old hours here. Oh my gosh. You know what? We need to pull up another chair for her.
And then maybe go join the party.
Join the party.
It's just Deborah.
Okay.
Okay, she didn't see this powerful. She doesn't see us. Oh, come on, Deborah. Glass of water. I'm really I mean,
let's go.
Okay, so I'm just going to get everything in before
We'll get it all done.
Okay.
We'll get it all done. This, for anybody who doesn't know, you've seen her on the Awakening World before, but this is the queen of everything that's happening there. So this is she's put this whole thing together. 75 incredible beings that she's invited and brought together. So it's an honor to have you with us, Deb. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And my God, you've done such a great job.
It's incredible. So have you spoken to them about what we've been doing?
We were just beginning to get into it. So we talked a little bit about what the HoloMovement was. We just defined it a little bit. And now we're looking at this.
On Zoom the way we know you.
Right. It's true. It's like everybody's like, we're all, oh my God, you're a human being, hugs. It's been really wonderful. So what we're doing, we just started watching this beautiful PowerPoint that Alan put together.
Or the media track.
The media track is like the history of media. Okay, and we're only into like the fourth slide of about, 30, 35 slides.
Well, I'm not going to go through it.
We're going to talk a little bit about it.
Well, I just want to understand what in the track. So Deborah, just describe how you divided the whole conference into 4 different sections.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I'm just going to get it.
Okay. Absolutely. So here's the HoloMovement banner.
Yeah.
And what I actually will do is I can pull up, I took the image of little 4 tracks. So I'm going to pull that up. It'll just take me a minute.
So the tracks were inspired by that logo on the banner where you see the 4 interlocking circles. And we were trying to strategize. How could we come out of this gathering of amazing visionaries here in the magnificent red rocks of Sedona in this vortex? How could we come out of the gathering with results, with actual infrastructure of some new kind for this emergent impulse that's running through all of us, that's igniting the global peace tribe all over the world. You are all feeling this call. You wouldn't be watching this program if you were not part of this, the HoloMovement. So for this gathering, you see the
I'll go back. Okay.
The track back on.
There we go.
So for this gathering, we have created these 4 tracks that we think will create a platform to make the HoloMovement more visible in the world, to have it something that you can actually find and become a part of. So we have the vision track that's looking at what is this impulse, this evolutionary pull that we're all feeling, and what are the principles, and how do we better express the unitive consciousness in the world? What are the strategies for moving forward? Then we have the engagement track, and that's looking at who are we trying to reach? There are the people like you who are already in it, committed to it, doing whatever you're doing to be part of the HoloMovement. And then there are the people that maybe would be if they knew it existed. And then there are the people that are like, don't have a clue. I bet every one of you knows somebody like that, right? Maybe they're even in your family, but don't have a clue. So how do we make engagement possible? What audience do we target, and what does it mean? Do you join as a member? In fact, Ben Bowler was talking in the engagement track today about making it not membership, but citizenship.
Ooh, being a citizen of the HoloMovement.
That's the planetary civilization.
Yeah, right.
The Uber country that we're all part of.
I love that idea.
Yeah. So that's the engagement track. The technology track has been doing these incredible presentations of how the emergent technology can bring us together in ways that are as unimaginable to us now as would be when we were kids and watching television, what the internet would be and how interactive. Right? So the technology track is looking not only at what that means in terms of web design and what's the next iteration of Facebook, Instagram. We know that these are old technologies already, right? But also, what does it mean to create a social architecture that's based around having this new technology that connects us? We just heard today that nearly 2/3 of the planet is online.
Isn't that something?
I can't believe that. I mean, isn't that incredible? Didn't you think that? Oh, of course, in the developed world, we're all online, but no.
And that
We're smartphones.
And soon it'll be 3/4. Very close.
The world is connecting itself. So that's the technology track. And then we have one more track. We lost it. That one more track is visibility.
Ta-da!
That's Alan and Scott. So how do we use the media that we have to create whole new levels of messaging that reach people at the heart level,
that entertain as well as teaching, and also would come together with shared initiatives like Unify has been doing, for instance, with the International Day of Peace, where
Unify is carrying this right now.
hello, Unify, we bow to you because you had this vision for a long time, for years, and they were the first ones to take the United Nations International Day of Peace out to a broader public, and they did it with a global meditation. So this, make no mistake about it, this is a spiritual impulse that's running through all of us. And that is why it's so powerful. It's like we're coming out of the Piscean age into the age of Aquarius. We're coming out of the one-to-many teachers. You know, one person standing up in front of the room and the other people learning from that teacher. We're still doing that we love that. But the next level is that we're all teaching one another and that we are all those jewels in Indra's net. And as we shine our light to each other, it's like when you light each other's candles, we're lighting each other up. And when you get lit by this, who feels it out there? Anybody feel it? Be lit by the HoloMovement. It brings us into a whole new level of consciousness that may just be the only thing that can save humanity from being part of the sixth great extinction.
Wow.
Talk about lighting up. I mean, are you lit up by this incredible woman here? I'm going to read some comments, so give us your comments. I want to acknowledge Jeffrey, Reverend Jeffrey, who's been letting us know all about the Resident Science Foundation. He also put a plug in for your book, Making Contacts, that it's the primer on UFO stuff. I want to acknowledge our teacher, Carol, who said she's going to make sure that all of her students are getting a dopamine rush every day from all the new things that they're learning from her.
Lucky kids.
Susan says, I'm with you. Carol says that you're lighting her right up. Laura Chamberlain writes, the oneness actually works more successfully in person, in groups where you can feel as one. Otherwise, it's just a cerebral concept. That's really true.
It's just not a cerebral concept. It just isn't. It's something of another dimension. And you can feel it. You may not be able to left brain describe it, but you feel it and you feel it. And I think it travels over Zoom. Because I've had experiences. One of the things I do is hands over energy healing. And I know that if any of you need some healing right now, you can put your hands up and heal one another through Zoom. You can do it. It works. Feel that energy coming from Scott and me. Can you feel it? Who feels it? Put in the chat if you can feel it. And take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath together. And let that energy go to any wounded parts of you that need that healing right now. And we're all doing it together. Everybody, put your hands up because you will feel the energy going from your hands to everyone who is with us right now. And I don't know about you, Scott, but I'm starting to vibrate, feeling this energy going through me. It's not me. I'm not doing this. You're not doing it. The energy moves through us and it lets us know that we are one and we can heal one another. So blessings to every one of you.
I'm going to put the spotlight on Dia Therese for a moment. Because Dia, I know you had asked that you want a little extra love tonight. So we're going to be sending right now, the spotlight's on Dia, and I invite you to just receive the love of your global peace tribe that we're all sending to you, because you're precious to us and we love you very much. Yeah.
That was
Wow.
Deborah, so sweet. Do you realize, Scott, this is the power of media? We weren't able to do this 5 or 10 years ago, but we are changing media landscape. We don't have to call it media. We're building community through technology in new ways. This is the HoloMovement. We're doing something new that will ignite the planet. I mean, this is decentralization in small groups being connected in a bigger vision. That's what it's all about.
This tool just when we needed it. We're given Zoom just before COVID.
Right.
You can't let this stuff.
But this is such a big change in how we're rearranging. We're no longer dependent on corporate media to get our information, to have our community. We are building it with our own technologies. That's the miracle of what you just did, holding up your hand.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Every weekend. It's to call in the tribe. And so every one of you has the opportunity to be online in community, sharing all the latest downloads and all of the excitement about what's coming through all of us. So week after week, you are igniting the HoloMovement. And I bow to all of you.
Isn't she amazing? Isn't she awesome? Hey, in all of our excitement, I forgot to invite all the people watching on Facebook, and we're out over 130 Facebook groups and pages now through John and Summer Raymer and the Sign Network. We're on Alan's YouTube channel. We're on the Conscious Awakening Network. We're on Unify tonight. So if you're wanting to come on into our Zoom room, because we put a lot of links in there, and we're going to have another 2 hours of amazing speakers and presenters like Brian, who's here waiting for us now. You're going to meet a lot of people, but come on into the Zoom room, and it's easy to do that. What am I doing? I'm inviting you to join the Global Peace Tribe. And it's easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. Learn all about us, all about the different shows we do, all the different presenters that we have. There's Kristen Hoffman. She's with us tonight.
I even sing for us.
Yeah, she's going to sing for us tonight. And so go to globalpeacetribe.com and click register for the new season. You'll get all the links to all of our shows all the way through the end of June. And we do 3 or 4 shows every week. So for example, on Wednesday night, we did a beautiful show all about celebrating all shades. I thought, here we are celebrating the HoloMovement. So we did a show all about recognizing that all shades of color are sexy and beautiful, regardless of age, race, culture. It's all beautiful. That was Wednesday night's show. And here we are, tonight's show. And then tomorrow's Sacred Sunday show is interviews with people like Reverend Deb, Alan, Brian, who's back here, and all the other people in the room having a party right now.
I want you to know something else really important.
What's that?
We have not promoted Igniting the HoloMovement. It's a private event. It was by invitation to these 80 luminaries and incredible visionaries from different parts of the world. And you are the first to learn about it.
Wow. Thank you for pointing that out.
But that's
welcome all you virgins. All of our virgins watching.
That's why we did it, to bring the world in. And this is the launching of bringing them in, because we're all part of the whole, whether we know it or not.
So I'm going to go to the party behind me. I'm going to send in some of these visionaries.
Yes.
Can we complete
we'll complete my
the thing, and then you go to the party.
Remember
For everybody to be muted. So somebody needs to mute.
Come on, we'll movement together here.
Let's remember to mute whoever it is that's calling their dog or whatever it is. I'm trying to find that person. You've got too many people in the
I got it.
Participants and see what shows up.
Right. All right. So, thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. And enjoy the party. Brian, we're probably gonna be about 10 minutes. Because we're going to complete this thing. We start with Ellen.
Thank you.
Over.
All right.
Here we go.
Well, that was great. She is an inspiration. That is why she's able to hold these 80 people together in this collective igniting. We are igniting something.
We are igniting, and you're helping us all. Everybody, help us as we, share this, and appreciating all of your comments. Let us know what you think and hold this vision, because it really is about all of us in our own unique way, really igniting the awakening world, the rising of consciousness, the HoloMovement.
I mean, if someone has some good comments here today, we'll share them tomorrow on the last day.
Yeah.
So put your comments in about.
Put it in comments. For example, Darina, I'll just read one. Darina just wrote, great way to honor, celebrate, spread the HoloMovement would be to participate in the Earth Hour, rolling across all time zones right now, in the middle of it now, and enjoying, sharing all of this with our GPT in Ecuador and globally. Beautiful. There you go.
Okay, I want to get to the party too, but let's finish the media, what I was saying about media. And you were loving this slide because this is what we're born with on the right, and this is what we're fabricated how to think. We're put in boxes. Our natural state is the creative imagination. William Blake said, the imagination is the human being. That is our essential nature. Consciousness, the ability to imagine what's not here yet and bring it in. So from there, it sort of went downhill. Yeah. So I'm going to look at this media thing in the integral way. Ken Wilber, he talks about the different levels of consciousness, and that's the next slide. I think you can just go.
I'm pressing.
Just click on it over there, maybe. There
we go.
So this is integral, Ken Wilber's thing.
Right.
We go from the archaic, which is to the magical, to the mythic, to the rational, to the integral, which is the integration. But so we start here. We were foragers. Our language of exchange was gestures, right? And then we just had family units. And spirit was the thing. And we became the totality of all creation. There was no separation. That's the archaic sense of beingness. And then from there, foraging, we became hunters and gatherers. So we created language in order to communicate over longer distance. Language really became the first medium of exchange. And we had tribes. And we relied on intuition. It was more of a magical time. This is really a rough rush view of the integral way.
The history of the planet in 2 minutes, according to Alan.
And then we went from hunters and gatherers to agriculturists. You know that the myth in the Bible, the Cain and Abel story. Cain was a hunter.
Abel was a rider.
He was the farmer.
The farmer.
And the farmer kills the hunter. You would think that with the hunter, he killed the farmer. And it is a kind of myth.
That reflects it, because Cain killed Abel.
Cain killed Abel, but Cain was the agriculturist.
Okay.
And it was a mythic way of saying that agriculture overcame the hunters and gatherers. It replaced the hunter-gatherer. This is a structural version of social evolution. So we became agriculturalists when we needed writing. We created states. We no longer were connected to spirits. We were connected to gods. Mm-hmm. The medium of exchange was emotion. We had myths and ceremonies. But from there, that lasted, 10,000 years? We created industry. This is in the last 300 years. Industry took us out of an agricultural framework, and we developed printing. This is in the 1490s. This is one of the reasons Columbus' discovery of the New World for Europeans became so popular, because the printing press by Gutenberg started to circulate around the world in Europe, in Western Europe, and everyone started to know information. I'll get into what, and from that industry, and this is a little compressed history, of course, nations were formed, God was the thing. I mean, this is really real. And then we're now in the digital world where the internet has replaced everything, and it's incorporated everything that's become for us. It's become a planetary kind of phenomenon, no longer state or nation, but planet. We are now one. There are no borders in the internet, really. But the other history of media was started with people going from town to town, saying, I got the news here. Everyone would come out of their house. What's the news of what's happening over there? So this is the anthropological understanding of media. Okay, from there we got theater. And also you mentioned churches.
Right. I mean, church became, there was Greek theater, and then there's church. And let's face it, most church services are very theatrical.
but they also informed us of how we're supposed to think. So each sense of media changes actually how we think. This was Marshall McLuhan's genius insight. The medium is the message. And I recommend that book if you really want to understand media and what that's about. It's not about content, it's about messaging. How is the media delivered? That's what McLuhan's genius was about. So from there, we went to newspapers. This is a really fast clip through history. Of course, we had movies, we had music, but the thing that informed us was newspapers. Imagine around the world in the 1700s, you could find out what was happening anywhere in your local newspaper. That was such a breakthrough. People couldn't think of anything more amazing than a newspaper.
But what came next was
the telegraph, 1848, around that. And coincidentally, that was our first really non-local communication. And you know what developed around the same time was the spiritualists, the Fox sisters, mediumship.
Madame Blavatsky.
Yes, all that came into the world around the same time that the telegraph, just non-local information. So that was an incredible medium. Suddenly we got messages instantly until, of course, the telephone was created. So, you know, each media copies the medium that came before it. So the telephone was just used to send messages. And, you know, when Graham Bell went to London and said, you know, I have this great invention where, you know, you could send messages and all you have to do is wire the city. The mayor of London said, that is a big bother. Why do we need that? We have messenger boys to do that.
Oh my gosh.
That's what the mayor of London said in the 1840s. So from telephones, we got radio. The family would gather around the radio in the 20s, 30s, 40s. And that was the family thing. You look at this box and you got, what could be better than that, Scott? You're getting news live from around the world through a voice coming.
Listening to the ball game, listening to the president speak, whatever it was.
It was the center of culture in America and probably the rest of the world.
But
then we get television. This is a Nixon, a Kennedy debates in 1960. This television actually turned the tide for Kennedy. He looked better. He sounded better. So he was the first television president, Kennedy, and he knew how to use the medium. That's what Trump did with Twitter. He knew how to use the medium.
Right.
So this is like television is in our brains now. We thought, what could be better than television? Wow, I'm seeing pictures from all over the world. This is the best thing that can ever happen until the internet. This happens to be my family, but brings your family closer. It brings everything closer. It brings the world. Like, what did you do? I mentioned yesterday, the last 3 years, you created a community
through internet. Here we are.
Everything you could ever imagine, every piece of knowledge is right at your fingertips. Isn't that the most amazing thing that can happen? And social media is flooding us all the time with new stimuli to feed that dopamine rush. What's new? I mean, you could watch your YouTube for hours.
So much.
Right. But you know, it's not the content, it's the delivery message. This is what we're not aware of when we look at media. It's not what's being said. There are no new stories. There's just new ways of telling that story. And that's why I want to make people aware of them. This is a whole course we can go into. From there, it's how it's said. So like I said, you could say, I love you and mean it.
There's so many different
How would you say?
Well, yeah. So it could be like, I love you.
And now say it is. Exactly.
You know, there's so many
The
different
content was the same, but the medium and the style was different. That meant totally different things. So we are being subject to the messaging of how it's delivered, not that we're being fooled like, oh, look at that pretty picture. And we're not seeing how we're drawn into a medium that's affecting the way we're thinking about reality.
Right.
So one more slide there. And this is a whole course, like I said. So the other thing there.
There we go.
And one more thing. This was old media, that right there, that one, yes. More doctors smoke Camel cigarettes than any other cigarette. This was Life magazine, 1960s.
I mean, just now we look at that and it's astonishing that because we know about smoking,
Right.
but look at how the media was used to sell cigarettes.
Right. And because your doctor smoked cigarettes, that made it okay.
And not just cigarettes, but Camels. I mean, I gotta smoke Camels because that's what my
But you know what? This is still happening. We're not aware of the messaging that's we might think in 20 years, how could we have believed that
Right.
on these TikTok, but yet we're taken in by the medium. So Picasso said, if I paint a wild horse, you may not see the horse, but you'll see the wildness. So this illustrates how the medium is the message, right? Basically, it's like that. So, and this is another commercial from Life magazine.
Incredible. How encouraging mothers to give Coca-Cola to their babies.
How soon is too soon for your baby? Not soon enough. It says this right in the ad. Laboratory tests over the last few years have proven that babies who start drinking soda during those early formative periods have much higher chance of gaining acceptance and fitting in. You want your child to gain acceptance and fitting in during those awkward preteen and teenage years. So do yourself and do your child a favor. This is right from the ad if you're not reading it. Start them on a strict regime of soda and other sugary carbonated
beverages right now for a lifetime of guaranteed happiness.
And who put that out?
The Soda Pop Board.
That makes it official, the Soda Pop Board of America.
Oh my God, yeah.
We
I'm not giving Junior enough
I know,
Coca-Cola.
but we're still being brainwashed the same way. We're just not aware. We don't have that 20 years experience. So one more slide I just want to show, because this shows you what the HoloMovement, where we're moving. The next slide, my favorite quote. So yesterday, the world was a machine. That was the kind of worldview paradigm. Today, it's a hologram. Who knows what rattle we will shake in tomorrow's world. And I'll leave you with that, Scott.
Right.
The future is ours to create through the medium that you've been working for the last 3 years.
Thank you for that incredible presentation.
But you've been doing it really, I mean, since 89, Scott's been out there. He called me out of my tent. Hey, you want to be an assistant director in Maui? So we've been together since.
Go enjoy the party.
You too. Come. I'm going to bring the party in here.
Oh, that's two amazing people.
Okay, go for it. Okay, and my book. There
If you don't have it already, Making Contact, Alan's incredible book where he's got most of the major living voices of the UFO field sharing what's really going on. So this is the book. We've been promoting it on the show for 2 years
at least.
Yeah,
but it's done really well on Amazon, and more of the government's coming forward. There's this whole movement with people who have non-disclosure agreements with the government coming forward and being whistleblowers and telling us this is a reality. Yeah. This is not just something, and sightings are increasing worldwide. We're going to do a whole show about that with new experiencers too. Right. So this is a new time for Pluto and Aquarius. It's a new way of thinking about our relationship to the cosmos and how to create our own media so we can inform each other about the truth of our reality.
That's all. Thank you. I'm going to go to gallery view. That's all. Twinkle, Alan.
Thank you.
Lots of there. I see Jeffrey's.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes. Well, we'll do some more shows. See you, everybody. Sure. Thank you.
I'm going to bring up two more amazing people in a moment, but I just want to kind of complete and read a couple of the messages coming in from all of you. Oh boy. Sylvia and Nitya, right? My mom had a picture of Ronald Reagan hawking cigarettes on the laundry alcove wall to help her quit smoking. Nitya's mom gave him Coke as a baby. I'm glad you guys turned out okay. Ayada writes, that's an awesome share. Dia, hopefully you're going to get some support in the ways you're asking for it. I'm just seeing that right now. Thank you, everybody, for acknowledging the media that I've created. Laura talking about old radio theater. Jerry Anderson's in the dark, but with us. No lights on for George. I guess a lot of you are still dealing with power failures. But we're all here together. Thank you so much. All right, I've got a wonderful new friend. I just met him here at the retreat. Gentlemen, why don't you both come on up? So this is Brian Weiss in the Hawaiian shirt.
Like, wish I was Brian Weiss. I'm Brian Russo. We're gonna turn the lights back on.
Whoops.
So Brian Weiss is the famous Harvard psychiatrist who does all of the near-death experiences and past life regression.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
It was kind of
A great debut.
so I apologize. Brian Russo.
Yeah.
And I just met this beautiful man, and he was the keynote speaker on the very first Thursday night.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll keep it.
Well, keep it.
Who wrote the foreword to the HoloMovement book.
Yeah.
What a great way to start.
So I've just met both these guys at the conference and was very impressed by both, and I wanted to invite them to meet our wonderful audience. You are right now on 135 Facebook groups and pages, including Unify and the Conscious Awakening Network. And then we've got about, how many? We've got about 63 people in our Zoom room directly with us. But let's just start with each of you sharing a little bit about what brings you to the HoloMovement. We'll learn a little bit about each of you individually, but Brian?
Thank you. So we have been talking about the medium as the message, and I would just like to share a message from my heart to you to begin. So hopefully the sound doesn't cut out, but we're going to try. So from one rainbow being to many, talking of all the beautiful color people here, we are all these colors and we're all shining and sharing. So my whole ethos is that we reflect the beautiful colors of each other so that we shine brighter together. And I come to this HoloMovement as someone flowing and paying attention to the moment and somehow moving into the space of beautiful evolutionary leaders and people that have a deep desire to be of service to the whole, and find myself writing a chapter with my dear friend, Sherry Hearn and Eli Klein on holistic design and biomimicry and how we are regenerating the world through that holistic design, which couldn't be more perfect how we'll keep in here, because we are seeing when that question is asked, how do all of us find our part in the whole? Well, we are all holons in that part, like an Indra's net, this vast, beautiful array, almost a web where each of us, this water molecule, which we are, reflecting the light towards each other, or the diamond that we are, each shining the light in the most perfect way to bring out the light in each of us. And it is a divine alignment that you are all participating in. And I see and I feel that energy. And as I receive, so I give back, and it just grows and grows, and the light, the web of light, expands upward. So we have that entire resonant structure to hold the dreams in the role of the whole, from our technology track, which I'm in, to our engagement track, to our visibility track, and of course our vision, which is held by each of you and is being stewarded us by us here. So we are bringing this out to the world, and it is a joy and pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Brian. And we'll hear a little bit more from Brian, but here's Will. Now, you wrote the foreword to the book, so tell us a little bit about that and what you want people to know about the HoloMovement.
Well, I just want to start with where Brian left off about light, because in physics, energy manifests as light. And in spirituality, the spiritual essence manifests as the light of the soul. So each one of us has that divine light in us as the essential nature of our being. And Brian mentioned the Indra's net, which I'm sure many of you know, but it's just this image from ancient Hindu and Buddhist cosmology of the nature of reality, where you imagine a whole vast, beautiful array of jewels, each one shining radiant in and of itself. And if you look in the facets of one jewel, you see all of the others reflected there. And so that's the essence of Indra's net. Now, if you take Indra's net and dip it into space-time, and that means you had temporal and spatial variations. So you get them all moving around, and you get some of them bigger than others. Now, if you look in the facets of any one of those jewels, you see the entire movement of the entire cosmic swirling heaven of all those other jewels replicated in each one. That is the true nature of our connection with the rest of the cosmos and with one another. So I contain you, you contain me. We live in one another. the planets, the stars, and the galaxies are alive in us. And so the HoloMovement is really the articulation that came from physicist David Bohm initially for this profound integral mystery of existence in which everything is part of the oneness of it all. And interestingly enough, the Nobel Prize in Physics went to 3 physicists last October who did some work that was sparked by the work that David Bohm did in 1952, and John Bell picked up on it in 1964. And I won't go into the details except to say that it is the closest thing we have to scientific proof of the essence of oneness, of existence throughout every level of manifestation, from the physical plane through the various subtle levels all the way into the heart of the supreme Godhead, or, Dharmakaya, whether you speak theistically or non-theistically. These are just all names, but there are these levels of divinity, and the HoloMovement is the relationship between that supreme and the manifestation. And it's an incredibly integral process in which each of you participates fully, because the essence is that each one of us is a microscopic droplet of the macroscopic whole. And I'll conclude this little riff with Rumi's line that you are not just a drop from the infinite ocean. You are the infinite ocean contained in a single drop. And that drop is one of the jewels in Indra's net. And so each one of us has this whole process of the universe manifesting within us. And that's why each one of us has to find out what is the note in that symphony of divine orchestration that we are called to sing and perform, and then to do it with abandon to the supreme call of the mystery of existence.
Well, let's digest that for a minute. I see Wowza smiling there. And Omashar, I'm going to ask each of these guys a couple more questions, then I'm going to go to another Omashar song. And just want to acknowledge some of the comments coming in. Jeffrey writes down, I love Michael Newton's books like Destiny of Souls, and that Nassim Haramein has finished the work with the solution to unified science. Laura Chamberlain wants you to go into more details. Carol writes, infinite potential goes into this. Melinda writes, Brian and Will, I love your message. I'm feeling this. Thank you. So George writes, very well said indeed. And Laura Chamberlain says, Michael, please go into a few details about last year's Nobel Prize. Good one.
Well, maybe to me.
Yeah, I think that Will.
Yeah.
This is Will.
Well, let me do a very brief on last year's Nobel Prize. This was in physics, and it was awarded to 3 physicists, John Clauser, Alain Aspect, that's French, I'm not good at French, and Anton Zeilinger. Basically what they did, as you may know, Einstein basically did not like quantum mechanics because it entailed quantum entanglement, which he called spooky action at a distance. And he used that to say, quantum mechanics can't possibly be right, because if it were right, it implies that this spooky action at a distance is real, which obviously it couldn't be. But David Bohm said, well, actually, maybe it is real. And he developed a whole new theory of quantum mechanics, assuming that non-locality was real. And that set up a whole series of experiments, starting with John Clauser in 1972 and culminating with Zeilinger's experiments in around 2017, like 40 years. I first heard about it in 1982, and I got very excited because this was proving the fundamental connection of everything beyond space and time. This is an intrinsic oneness throughout the cosmos. And that has now been experimentally proven. And the first experiment that was done showed that, and then all the subsequent experiments were simply plugging loopholes and covering contingencies, just in case, well, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of that. They plugged every loophole they could over 40 years. And so now it's been accepted that this is the nature of reality. And Einstein, bless his heart, was mistaken on this. Spooky action at a distance is real. That means that there is a fundamental interconnection that is called non-locality or quantum entanglement that every part of the universe is connected to every other part. And this is not just on a material level, but also on a matter and consciousness level. So it's horizontal as well as vertical through the different planes of reality. That is incredibly exciting. It's essentially a kind of scientific proof of what the mystics have been claiming for thousands of years about the oneness of all that is. So it's a very exciting development. And it's the essence of what we now need to use as a kind of organizing principle to unite humanity also as one. Because the reality is we are one. We just need to realize, wake up, and live it.
And imagine being with 80 people like this, you know, and it is creating, again, a greater field. It's like it's the 4-minute mile. It's the 100th monkey. It's our show. The more that we meet each other and we share our own awakening, the more that the awakening world is really taking place. I want to ask each one of you a question, who you are, separate from the HoloMovement. So what would you like for our audience to know about you and your service to the world?
What a great question. And must I just say that as we're birthing the HoloMovement right here, midwifing it here, Will Keepin is a voice of a generation, right? This is bigger than Einstein. This is bigger. And everyone at this movement is in alignment with that, in having and bringing their part to that. So I like to think of myself like the eye of the we, and a lot of maybe the we, right? Because I really try to see that big picture perspective. So as, again, a holistic systems designer, I look at different layers and I look at how those different layers kind of holographically stack on top of each other. And just like that holographic plate, how they're right there. So when those holographic nodes all come into each other, there's such a strong resonance field in that. And what we're doing, creating this digital earth even, where we can map out the impact areas, where we can find the people and the organizations to come in there. That's really been my dream. So I really hold that in my heart, that deep love for humanity. And in my own path, really what opened me up was the sound. And we had so many beautiful singers here. And one of the pieces we had was the sound of love. And when I do my sound concerts, I often call them just the sound of love. That's my filler name of it, because that's what it is. And I want to leave with the message that, you know, one of my things is sometimes making sounds, and some people say that sound was beautiful, and the same sound, someone's like, oh, so dissonant, right? And that's the medicine acting, because sometimes as we move forward into this, it will be comfortable or it will be uncomfortable. But as we just let the ease and peace be within and move through that, like the buffalo moving through the storm, we will get to the rainbow together. So this is my passion. That's who I am. I'm so grateful.
Beautiful. Can you put in, if you have a website or URL,
yes,
pop it in?
I do. It is Rainbow Circle. That's the name of my holistic design system.
Put it in
contact information
or whatever, so people can just click and go.
I will do that. And my other one is Be Sound Now. So I might
put those both in while he's talking.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit. I'm sure we're going to do everyone.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Here we go.
So please, and check out the unitive narrative, right? It's the story that we're all joining in together to tell this. That is aligned exactly what we're
And we've had Jude Curvin on the show before. So you remember Jude Curvin, she wrote about the unitive narrative, which is, again, a big kind of connecting piece. Will, you mentioned earlier about the work that you're doing about gender equality. And we do a lot of shows on that.
Yeah.
And so I'd love, if you don't mind, kind of your take or your experience with that very important part of our evolution.
Sure. And actually, Scott, I think there was, Cynthia and I were on this show once briefly when you were not there and someone else was there.
Oh, wow.
I'm now remembering that we gave a short little clip, maybe 6 months ago or a year. I can't remember.
Okay.
But so some of you may have heard me speak with Cynthia before.
Cynthia
Bricks, who is my wife and primary colleague in this work. But just very briefly, as you heard, I have a background in quantum physics and science. I then became an environmental scientist, and I worked on strategies for abating global warming for about 25 years. And in the context of that movement, there was a lot of Me Too type stuff, shenanigans going down that were toxic, couldn't be talked about, were hidden. So about 30 years ago, I convened a group of colleagues to address this within the mainstream environmental movement. And this was just among ourselves, right? We weren't trying to take anything on the road. We were trying to heal a problem that existed in our community. To make a long story short, what happened was those first couple events we did kind of blew up in our face, And so we started a series of programs. We called them Gender and Ecology. Are there parallels between exploitation of the earth and exploitation of the feminine? So that's how it got started. And that led to a series of intensive community healing programs that we did, all internal, in-house. But after about 3 or 4 years, we started getting invitations from others. And so this thing just kind of mushroomed and grew over the years into what is now Gender Equity and Reconciliation International. And this is basically working to heal the divisions that humans have invented around gender. So this is healing divisions between men and women, healing divisions between hetero and non-heterosexual people. And what we've learned over 30 years, and we're now mainly a training organization, training facilitators to implement this work. And we've done it in about 14 countries across the globe. But the essence, just to kind of leave you with the essence of what we've learned in 30 years of doing this work, men learned that although they knew that women struggle and suffered, we routinely say, I had no idea what it's actually like. I had no idea how hard it is to walk as a woman in the world, to not be able to feel safe on the streets at night, to be under constant threat of assault. So there's an awakening in men of the profundity of the oppression of women. Women learn, and when I say learn, what I mean, we hear this all the time. See the key themes. I had no idea. I thought men had all the advantages. They have all the power. We're the ones with the problems. I had no idea how much this system has caused men, deny them their humanity. As Bell Hooks said at one point, young boys and young men have to self-mutilate part of themselves in order to fit in. And if they don't, their peers do it to them and for them. So there's this betrayal of the humanity of men that happens in the male socialization of boys and men. So you have this situation where neither side realized how much the other is suffering. And then heterosexual people have no idea how much LGBTQ and non-binary people suffer in a heteronormative system that's imposed on everyone. So this is a human-made set of injustices. And what we found coming into these forums is, to put it, the way spiritually, the truth shall set you free. And if the truth shall set you free, then speaking the deep truth will set you more deeply free. And so we go into a process of deep truth telling, and then we move through a collective alchemy. And then we come to a place where we drop the veils of all of that gender conditioning and see one another soul to soul. And we experience the beauty and the majesty of each human, of the other inside ourselves. So that's the essence of the work we do. It's a deep collective alchemical transformational healing work in community, using the dysfunction of gender as the alchemical grist for the mill. But we come to a place where we go beyond gender altogether and unite as soul to soul, as one humanity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I love that 30 years ago, it wasn't the Me Too movement that pushed it. It was their own desire to self-reflect and recognize we've got a problem going on within our system. I'm 67, so I've been involved in nonprofits for a long time. And it's true. Back in the 80s and 90s, there was well-meaning people, but there was a lot of stuff going on. You mentioned about women feeling safe. We had a guest on the show a few months ago, Jonathan Robinson, pointed out there had been a study done. They asked 1,000 men and 1,000 women the same question.
Right.
When was the last time you were physically afraid that, you were having a physical safety issue?
Totally. Right.
And then they aggregated it. For the women, it was within the last 3 days. For men, it was within the last 5 years. That's the radical difference. Incredible difference.
So important.
I mean,
we do this in conferences all the time where we ask, to the women, please stand up if in any time in the last week to 10 days you have taken any measures to prevent, to not become the victim of a sexual assault? And we asked the same question for the men. And basically, 80 to 90% of the women stand for that question. 5% or less of the men stand for that question. The difference becomes very obvious immediately, that we live in different worlds now.
A couple comments, and then I'll let you guys go back to the party. We've put in your chat. Do you have a website that you could put in for us? So here we go. We'll just pop that in. And you have a response to the question?
Is it the question? If I could just riff on the HoloMovement as well and bring you back to tonight, and also what Will talked about. He talked about there being 4 miracles. And the first miracle is our knowledge of the outer, in a way. And it's so funny how we think with our science and our progress that, we've mastered the outer world. And there's this masculine idea of talking about gender, of conquering it. But now what we're learning is the universe is not this dead, devoid thing, that it is in fact this beautiful living thing in which we are a part of and fractally scaled down into. So when we literally have the data that shows how an incoming supernova blast in a galaxy can move away from that, and we know that it's conscious at that scale, and even at a holographic scale, at a hepatocyte in the liver, how it's a tinier version of that liver in there, and the tiniest little specks of dust are coming and healing that. It shows the wholeness of the biological world is always healing itself. And from that miracle, we move on to the inner miracle of looking at Jung in the psyche and seeing how all of those forces are dynamically coming into integration, and not only individuation, but collectivization in that. And the third miracle is a synthesis. And this is what brings me to such an excitement of what Will is doing in what is called archetypal cosmology. And this is how we see the outer and the inner, the stars that we are physically made of, and also on a mental, emotional, spiritual level made of. And this is a gift to be opened. And where that goes to is this moment right now. You are experiencing the fourth miracle of that transmission of how the inner and outer are just two sides of the same coin. And we're flipping it in the air now. And we're seeing that it lands up heads. And I'm looking at all these beautiful heads. I'm looking into your eyes and I see my reflection in you. And I see that. And that's it. That's the hologram. So I love that, because that is the transmission of seeing that soul to soul. And this is the miracle unfolding. So thank you so much.
Gentlemen, thank you both so much. My gosh. Oh my God. This is fun. Yeah. And Rev Deb pointed out this is the very first time that the HoloMovement's being publicly presented in any way. So this is our very first audience to start putting out there what we're doing. So go enjoy the party. If you see Rhiannon, could you send her in?
I will.
Because she's going to do a little music for us. And all of your websites are there.
Yeah, thank you,
guys.
Thank you so much. Great to be here tonight.
Rainbow light from my heart to yours.
And from mine to yours. Thank you.
I'm going to read a few of the comments, and then I'm going to go to Omashar for some music to just digest all this incredible wisdom that we're hearing from these beautiful souls. Laura Chamberlain writes, if you wake up every day and constantly walk with the mantra, I am safe, loved, and cherished by the universe, healthy and whole, you can feel safe all the time. Thank you, Laura. Jeffrey, I so appreciate it. You always put in the latest from the Science and Resonance Academy. Thank you for that. I'm going to go to my co-pilot.
Wow. How cool were they? Dude, it's wonderful. It's like we're getting information from every angle, and it's hitting because I'm just sparking on my spine as a light. And so anyway, let's
I'm going to have you play. I'm going to go get my next guest and also grab a bite to eat.
All right.
And I'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes. Or 5. Let me see who else is here. Christy, I'm making you co-host, and while he's playing, feel free to put the camera spotlight on people moving to the music or doing light touch or whatever. Would you be willing to do that, Christy? Great. And I'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes.
And another thing, when you get spotlighted, there's a thing comes up on your screen which says the host has asked you to unmute. Please do not unmute. Just ignore that and just continue to dance, like Wowzer, for instance.
Good point. Thank you.
Cool.
When flowers grow, dripping with dew, and rivers flow in sapphire blue, I suddenly know what I forgot I knew. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. And when autumn sun kisses my cheek, whilst cool winds come up mountains peak, with poems on my tongue but no wish to speak, I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. Sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever, forever and ever and ever. Whoa, when tender hands trace memories where powdered sands meet temperate seas. I don't understand, but I love mysteries. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. And when evening stars shine all around, my grieving heart's no longer down. And things that were lost, that's where true hope's found. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. Sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever? My sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever? I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean.
Yes, I think we're all becoming tears that have lost our fear of the ocean because, as was just stated, the ocean is in the drop and the drop is in the ocean. What a concept. Hey, Scott.
Hey, you already done with your song?
I know, it was a 4.5-minute one, so you were really quick.
I went out and everybody was like, "Ah."
I bet.
There's like 100 people out there, literally.
It's kind of
gigantic thing going
They
on.
can maybe come into the room as they not feel that they're interrupting, because it's kind of nice to see people lining up for the interview.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see who pops in next. I've asked Rhiannon to come in.
Lovely.
And yeah, thank you, everybody. I think what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of videos. This is going to be a light touch Zen video. You know how Jay creates these wonderful videos of Zen wisdom. And so we're going to go to one of those right now. Sure sound, here we go. Thank you, Jay Mayer. Here is some Zen. Thank you, Jay Mayer. I was having bites, to be honest. I was having a bite to eat during that moment. I'm hungry. Omashar, what are some things that have stood out for you in tonight's show?
Really, just the eloquence of people who can let our left brain know how that we are interconnected. And I've been to so many events where a unified field has been created over a number of days by the group of people that are there. Normally, when there's a lot of people over, maybe over 40 or 50, and you feel the unified field. And once the masks are removed after about day 3, and you're going into day 4 and 5, you feel and you know that we're each a part intrinsically of each other. However, I can't share that as an experience to somebody who needs to hear how it is possible. And so everybody that's come on tonight has said, well, this is how it's possible. They're speaking from a scientific perspective, because once the mind has been given the information of how it is possible, it can unhook. And then suddenly the right brain clicks in, the heart opens more, and you can perceive it for yourself. And so I think that is so far what has stood out for me most, especially with the last 2 guests.
Thank you. Well, we are going to have a couple more guests joining us, but I'm going to play a video from one of the people that's here at the conference, Truth Sika. He pronounces it Sika. And so it's going to be about a 5-minute video. And then we'll be here, hopefully, I think, with our next guest.
What do you want the world to look like 700 years from now?
Hear the call of the night, bringing us silent grace. Call of the dawn of the first light, birthing a bright new day. Sun, moon, earth, align. Grandmother says it's time to walk in the sacred way. Bring to the waters, burning the cedars, standing on the front line. Oh, standing behind. Our elders, our brothers, and our sisters, and the mothers in the earth, water, fire, in the sky. Indigenous rights, indigenous rights, indigenous wisdom, right. Indigenous rights, indigenous rights, indigenous wisdom, right. 7 generations. Who is thinking of them? Children of
future of our future. Every move we make is useful, singing heart songs and it's beautiful. Drumming is our medicine, dancing with our brethren, better than we've ever been, best chance to ever win. Power to the people, love is our beacon, calling truth seekers and all wisdom keepers, living with no regrets, good against evil, exists in all the people, the condor and the eagle, burning sage and cedar, spirit is our leader, warriors, shamans, believers, dream weavers, bless all my relations, we're all created equal, channeling medicine songs, singing to the ether, ancients say that everything is sacred, patience as we break free from cages, celebrate with soul tribe, lessening the hatred, uncovering the secret mystery of the ages. You won't get rid of us, our souls indigenous, return to innocence, set free the prisoners, our mind is limitless, we are omnipotent, bring dark into light while remaining vigilant. 7 generations.
Who is thinking of them? Children of our children, the future of the nation.
We gotta see the vision of a love vibration.
7 generations.
7 generations.
Who is thinking of them? The children of our children, the future of the nation.
We gotta see the vision of a love vibration.
The curse is with me, poverty is with me, bondage is with me, a generation set free. Take a ride, supernatural high, as I envision cryptic visions, Fibonacci and I'm on a natural high, with nature I am alive, I keep my feet on
people, love is our beacon, calling truth seekers and all wisdom keepers, living with no regrets.
real soon. ETs, wing beams as they fly by, psilocybin connected to the night sky, stargates, we connected to the star guys, and we the Gnostic super fight against the arc. In battle 10 we were winners, we break the soul ties, higher learning, conversating with the spirit guides, we ascend to higher levels when the body dies, with no corruption, it's something I often fantasize, I speak life to my family tree, we are blessed to be a blessing, stand together with me.
7 generations.
7 generations.
Who is thinking of them? Children of our children, the future of the nation.
We gotta see the vision of a love vibration.
7 generations.
7 generations.
Who is thinking of them? The children of our children, the future of the nation.
We gotta see the vision of a love vibration.
Sister, I'm calling.
Sister, I'm calling.
Take my hand.
Take my hand.
Let us sing together and travel across these ancient lands. Brother, I'm calling.
Brother, I'm calling.
Take my hand.
Take my hand.
Let us dream together and travel within these inner lands. Sister, I'm calling.
Sister, I'm calling.
Take my hand.
Take my hand.
Let us sing together and travel across these ancient lands. Brother, I'm calling.
Brother, I'm calling.
Take my
my hand.
Let us dream together and travel within these inner lands.
Every decision, be it personal, governmental, or corporate, we must consider how it will affect our descendants 7 generations into the future.
Hey, this is Sunny Ray.
And this is Indigo Prophet.
We'd like to say thank you for watching this video and sharing this video.
We put some links below.
And you can follow those links to find out how you can support Indigenous cultures worldwide.
Thank you.
You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Muted. Oh, that's Tarek Bibi who did that beautiful video. And we've talked a lot about 7 generations because, of course, as we're creating the HoloMovement, we really are wanting to think ahead in a way that our Indigenous elders are teaching us. This is Rhiannon, and she's one of the wonderful people that I've only seen on Zoom before. We met for the first time, like so many of us. We're just meeting for the first time, and it's wonderful. Rhiannon, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Scott. I just want to say, first of all, I'm so grateful to be here with you all. And there really are no words for how monumental this moment is that we're all sharing here in Sedona. And all of you are sharing with us at the same time. The fact that we can reach out and co-create this moment in our collective evolution by being connected through technology, through the beautiful field of consciousness that you've all been creating together. And you can experience this and create it with us as we're here on the ground doing the work that we've all been working towards for so many years. It's just, the energy here is so incredible. And I really hope that you all feel that. I see you feeling it. I see you actively in the moment being here with us. And, you know, I think you all maybe know, so I'll start by talking just the tiniest bit about myself, as Scott asked. So some of you may have seen me in the past talk about being part of Bella Gaia. I'm part of this amazing ensemble group that has an immersive theater experience that was created in collaboration with NASA. It's designed to simulate the overview effect and help people to feel more connected to the cosmos, to humanity, and to the planet, and inspire stewardship. I have been producing events and experiences and really kind of early immersive experiences for decades now, as an artist, as a creative director, as a co-producer, and helping to create spaces for transformational expression to happen. So creating those containers where everyone can come in, bring in their voices, their visions, we need to bring in, as I know you all understand, and are creating the space for yourselves, for all disciplines, all cultures, all generations to come together and everyone to bring their wisdom and their hearts together in coherence and really co-create what the next step in our evolution is. So I discovered very young in my life, like I was 14, 15 years old, when I realized that one of the ways, really powerful ways to do this is to throw giant parties and have everyone meet each other on the dance floor, right? And create spaces for amazing art and expression to happen. And at the same time, to have dialogues that opens people's hearts. You start to feel everything viscerally and really just open up to all the possibilities. And when we meet each other in these spaces where we are open to experience things and to hear things, really listen to one another in completely new ways, transformation is just, it's incredible. So years before I started throwing dance parties and in the underground, of New York City. And I now, decades later, I see how all the work that I'm doing is so directly connected to those roots still. I'm the creative director now for Purpose Earth, amazing grassroots funding and mentorship organization who has been giving money to seeding basically new projects, grassroots projects around the globe. People that have beautiful visions.
With Purpose Earth.
Right. You've done
Lawrence on the show.
Purpose Earth, and Scott's been such an incredible supporter of Purpose Earth. We're so grateful to you for that.
Thank you, Purpose Earth, for what you guys do. Thank you.
I was laughing because I'm overjoyed that some of you know Bella Gaia and to know that you know Purpose Earth. And Purpose Earth is one of the ways that we've been able to bring a lot of these things forth. And of course, the co-founders of Purpose Earth are Laura and Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is the founder of the HoloMovement. The reason that we're here, one of the co-editors of the book, the other co-editor of the book being Jill Robinson. And I had the incredible honor and joy and pleasure of co-authoring a chapter with Jill in the book about the art of altruism. So, that's my contribution to the book. Along with that, I kind of had this vision when I got to meet Laura and Emmanuel for the first time in person in Ibiza. So I flew there because my partner was teaching in Prague, and I was like, that's just kind of a hop, skip, and a jump. So how can I not go and hug these people that are my family, right? And then I was like, Emmanuel, we need a song. We need to create a song that celebrates the birth of this incredible movement. And I knew that Kristen Hoffman was the voice of this song. And I am a singer. I am very passionate about sharing my voice in this way. But I knew that she was the one. So she's such an incredible composer, brilliant, genius of a composer, but that drives everything through her heart. So Emmanuel and I executive produced this track with Kristen producing, writing, composing this brilliant track that just got officially released to the world on the 23rd. So it's on streaming services now. You can all hear it. And yesterday, she just sang it live for everyone. And we just premiered which just happened because of a beautiful vision that David Gershon had. He was like, well, this song is amazing. We need a music video. So just basically a month ago, we decided to collaboratively with a small group of people, make a music video and it's not exactly a music video. It's a story about our collective evolution told in a really visceral, heart-driven and creative way. And this is actually the first music video, if you want to call it that, that I've ever produced in my life. So I learned a lot through the process. We sharing it with people live at the launch of the HoloMovement was one of the greatest joys of my life. Seeing that projected and seeing people have been telling us that they're crying because they're so moved. You can see that the movement of people's hearts from this. So I'm just so excited that these are things that are out there in the world now that we can share with you all going forward. And this is part of us telling the story of the HoloMovement in really creative ways. So along with that, I've made it part of my life's mission now to be an advocate for the power of immersive arts and immersive sound. And I have the great joy of bringing my partner with me here, Paul Geluso, who is one of the world's experts in immersive sound. And we just premiered a new piece that we created together. It's all based on chimes, and it was recorded binaurally. It's mixed in 4 channels and quad, and we just presented that for the first time. And I sang live completely improvisationally over these chimes that we presented in this space. But so Paul and I are doing a lot of things that I'm really excited about, and he's been writing books on the subject. It's books that are being used to teach this in classrooms around the world. So yeah, I'm excited to share with you all more going forward about what we're doing, the power of immersive arts and immersive sound, and the ways that it can unlock our ability to heal, to feel our visceral connection to the entirety of how we are interconnected to everything, the interweaving, to feel Indra's net, to experience that, and to create new fields, and feel the resonance that's all around us, and we create our own reverb, sometimes convolution reverb. It's just a beautiful marriage of science and spirit. And I'm just, as I told people yesterday, bringing him here, it's like my heart meeting my heart, because he's my heart, and this community is my heart. And so I don't feel like he's fully known me until he meets all of you. So it's just not even possible to express just how much it means to me to be physically with all of these people together for the first time.
It's been amazing. And to share with all of you for the very first time, as Reverend Deb pointed out, this is the first time the HoloMovement's been in any way or form presented publicly.
So exciting.
Can you get me the link of where I can pull up the video to play for people tonight?
I'll if you would like, I would love to share it.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. So let
Yay.
me bring up our other 2 guests,
Yep.
and you and I'll give you my email address. You can email it to me, and then I'll play it for people.
You all have to tell me in the chat what you think, okay? And how you feel about experiencing that.
Now let's see. Drina might have found it. Drina is really good about finding these things. Is that it?
That's oh my gosh, is the video already up online?
Let's see if is that. No,
No,
it's
that's
the
just the
song.
track.
It's
You'll
just the
have to
song.
see. Yeah, the video
Send me the
isn't
video.
up there yet, but
Right.
you're gonna get the first global premiere of it.
Hey, that's all toward Rhiannon. Thank you so much, Rhiannon. And I'll walk out with you and give you my email address. Well, these are wonderful ladies.
Sending you all love. Depths of
Very
my heart.
informal little studio here. Have a seat. I'm going to give Rhiannon my email, and Miranda, since I know you, would you be willing to introduce yourself and your friend here to our audience?
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you,
Yes.
Scott.
Thank you for being here.
So hello, everyone. Lots of you have seen me many times. I'm Miranda Clendenning. I work with Unify. We help broadcast Awakening World. Tammy Scarlett will be coming on in a little bit as well. I also work with David Gershon and Empowerment Institute, and we have been having an amazing time here. I mean, it's I don't know. I would say the thing I've heard most commonly here is that the world is going through a shift and an up leveling, and we're all here being a part of it. Every conversation that we've been having is, you know, technology's vision, the creation of the new world, and the download that all of us are getting is really going to the next level. And I want to introduce Laura George. We have met each other and crossed paths in the past, but never really got to deep dive. And now, because it is a special time now, part of it is that the world is coming out of COVID, which is was like a special synchronized everybody having an introverted in-breath and contemplation and thinking and rest and healing and creativity. And now everybody's having a synchronized birthing of all of that at the same time. With Unify, we're seeing that, you know, so many people, I have this book I'm launching, I have this new transformational counseling program, I have, it's just really a birthing of an emergence of people coming out of the cocoon and being with each other. And as this new butterfly with imaginal cells is telling us what we are doing next. And none of us have the full answer, but Laura, please take it away and tell us what you're doing, because I'm very, very impressed by this woman, and I'm going to go visit the property in Virginia, and please tell us what you're helping.
Well, first, I'm going to agree with you that COVID gave those of us who are working on shifting the paradigm some time to really contemplate what was needed, because we're in a breech birth situation now, folks, as everybody knows. But this weekend, magic happened, continues to happen, and will continue to happen, because the HoloMovement is going to be a designed, co-created, co-constructed, strategized, real movement to birth the paradigm that we're so longing for. And the piece I hold is a property, a vortex of light in a little town called Independence, Virginia, where the Oracle Institute is located. And what we're building there, in addition to an educational campus, we're building a community called the Valley of Light. And it's patterned off of Damanhur, the city of light, for those of you who know who Damanhur and what they've been able to accomplish, which is beyond belief. Going to Damanhur is like going to another planet. So they've already manifested the HoloMovement. So we're going to do it in the United States. And our central center, which is both a temple and a tool, is called the Peace Pentagon. And the Peace Pentagon was built in Virginia to create equibalance, equipoise with the War Pentagon in Northern Virginia. So we got the War Pentagon, the Potomac River up north, and we've got the Peace Pentagon and the New River in the south. And the New River was completely misnamed. It is the oldest river in America. It is the oldest river in the Western Hemisphere. And it quite possibly is the oldest river in the world. And on this sacred site, we are building a community for cultural creatives. So I'm sending a shout out right now. We need more ready, willing, and able
consciously able, by the way, humans to build a model community for the United States. There are many up and running. This one now has a little different vibe. This one is specifically designed to counteract those dark forces that are working day and night, 24/7 on destroying our country. So for patriots out there on Team Light, please check out the Peace Pentagon. Please check out, we have two websites. There's the Oracle Institute website, which is our charity, and the Peace Pentagon has its own website. It's peacepentagon.net. So yeah, we're going to move forward with the HoloMovement, and we want the Pentagon to be a hub for the HoloMovement so that it's, in addition to being this online, interconnected, global organism, we're also going to have places, physical places where the HoloMovement is anchored, and the Peace Pentagon is going to be one of those places. So that in a nutshell is what we're doing in Virginia to help shift the paradigm.
Can you put in the website, or you already did that?
No.
Okay.
Put in the website, and so we can take people to there. Thank you so much. Miranda, have you had a chance to share yet?
A little bit, but yeah, I'll share a little bit more.
Oh no.
No, go.
Try it again.
Miranda, share
Yeah.
with our audience what you're up to that you haven't shared yet.
Well, I mean, I think it's really beautiful sharing about the HoloMovement right now, because this is the first public broadcast about what's happening, and this this event has been really special because of the time period right now, because of the emergence of many of us having this vision that there's something more emerging that needs more exploration. And since a lot of us are sensing that we need to go to the next level, even with tech and data systems and communication systems and how we do impact and track impact and broadcast, and we're holding the same vision in so many ways. That's been repeated here so many times. You know, we're creating the new earth, we're creating peace on earth, we're creating a future for generations to come, we're creating a connection between galactic downloads and other advanced planetary systems and what we are here. However you want to say it, you can tell it in the frequency that we're all holding and carrying, and the loving and beautiful, faithful conversations between the people here. I've been the harvester for the vision track, and it's like, when we get close to being able to define what we're doing here and what we need, we get just as close to tearing that back down and saying, it's not a structure, it's not a form, it's not one vision, it's an emergent thing, it's a way of being. It's, you know, so we've all day today, this is the third day of the conference. And so today is, we have the forming, storming, norming, performing kind of system. And today, last night was quite a bit of storming. Today is storming in a way of allowing the dynamic tensions to come out of how do we bring form to something that we need together more. We need to be cooperating more. We need to have a unitive field built in a stronger way. But how do we leave it almost nameless so that somebody's not trying to say, this is my thing, or we're launching a new thing that already does exist. We're already a HoloMovement that is here, that exists, that is going, and that's growing and coming alive more. So it's been a beautiful discussion. And even when the vision track tried to have a presentation of what we've been through, it ended up being more of a movement event where we all were one-celled organisms that combined into multi-cell organisms, combined into one big organism. And then what does that want to do? And everybody was dancing in the room and holding hands and got in a big circle that turned into a spiral, that turned into a hug and a musical thing, just organically, as we self-organized into this beautiful experience. So I don't know another way to explain that, but there are people here that are really into systems and strategy and how do we have the tech and communication systems and coordination systems of the future? How do we make a United Nations of light and councils for impact and solve the world's problems? And then there's people that are the dreamers that are saying it's all the way that we just be and hold the dream and let it emerge and don't give it form. And a lot of us are holding both. You know, I'm a huge dreamer, but I'm also a systems operations person, big time. So it's just been beautiful to be in that space with so many people that understand, and there hasn't been any like conflict kind of things that I've seen that wasn't healthy and beautiful. There's, as Mason said, there's so much love gushing between everybody here that you can bring up a dynamic tension or something that's making you nervous or not quite feeling right. If we were to make something too much structure or somebody having too much control, but then we're just cruising right past it, like really quickly.
You're right. No group think has clicked in. Everyone here feels comfortable expressing what's coming up for them, what they might be getting in terms of a download in the moment. And that's what's been the most impressive to me, because I've been at events before where, you know, it's structured and it has, you know, there's a director, they plan these things. In this event, spontaneous information, intelligence is coming through, and we're spinning on a dime and listening to one another. If there is a tension in the room, it's not ignored. It's like, wow, okay, maybe this is something we didn't think about that we should think about. This has been the best brainstorming and heart-centered event I've ever been to. And in addition to that, if that's not glorious enough, everyone here can manifest. Everybody at this event has an exceedingly advanced project going, an organization going. I mean, everything from publishing houses to schools to health centers to, you know, spiritual coaching one-on-one as well. Everybody here can manifest. And I've also never been in a group in terms of that sort of level of ability when it comes to anchoring in reality, in 3D, that which we're seeing multidimensionally. It's so exciting. The level of both passion and expertise that the HoloMovement represents.
Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you for coming into the party. I've got people I got to bring in. So thank you very, very much.
Future events to come. We're going to make sure 300 people can be at the next one, and that everybody that wants to be working.
And you can tell them to come on in.
Okay.
Aren't they amazing? I mean, just to see how every single person here is so wonderful. It's really, really exciting. So I am going to be able to download the video. Yeah, come on in, please. Please come on in. I'm just now able to download it because they were, I do accept all this. I will continue as Scott. And here we go. There's download.
The phone on.
Marty Casey is here.
It's like when you're in the video, that would mean so much. Because I'd love to hear that with Kristen too. And
So Rhiannon's back here. And hello, Jeff. Hello, Peter. Hi, Peter. Good. This is Peter. Hey. And Marty Casey is with us. I'm so Marty on the show before we love Marty Casey.
And
Yay. So I'm now downloading the video that Rhiannon was talking about, and it's got 21 seconds left. So Rhiannon, again, just briefly introduce what we're about to see.
This is one of the most heart-driven expressions of love and the evolution of consciousness that I've ever had the privilege of being part of. This was a true co-creative process in the spirit of the HoloMovement. We created this through deep dialogues, talking about how to express what the HoloMovement means in a truly creative form and symbolic form. So, I mean, really the most important thing I could tell you about it is that
we're all learning, and this is going to continue to evolve as we do. And I could not be more privileged and honored to be part of creating this, co-produced with David Bryan and born out of incredible visionary discussions with David Gershon, with Emmanuel Kunzelman, and with Kristen Hoffman.
Beautiful. Shirley LaFranc just wrote, "We love Marty Casey," by the way.
I love Marty Casey.
We all love Marty Casey. Okay, here we go. We're the world premiere of the HoloMovement anthem. Here we go.
We have entered an extraordinarily rare interval in human history, a choice point in our collective journey, a space between the past and the future where the lives of countless generations ahead will be profoundly impacted by the choices we make now.
Nothing.
I believe it is both subtle and large, and something else so extraordinary that there's almost no name for it. Because a new human species is ready to emerge.
We see nothing.
Participation in this transformation involves collective attention and communication on a planetary scale.
No video.
This creates coherence and clarity of direction.
We heard the sound, but there was just a black screen.
Because we were seeing it just fine.
Yeah.
That's very strange. All right, well, let's do another test for a moment here.
To do a pre-check.
You know what I could do?
This is all emergent, right?
That's confusing because we saw it perfectly here. Right, let me do this and move it to my desktop.
I mean, the song alone is
The
quite.
song alone is phenomenal.
Even with no image and
Right.
closing your eyes and imagining.
Well, we were enjoying watching you watching it.
Yeah. All right.
I was watching you watching what I thought you were watching.
All right. I'm going to try again doing it on advanced and almost sure give us a thumbs up if it's playing properly. I don't know why that would be. There's a gut optimized, but let's try this.
I just want to tell all of you as the audience of this incredible show, I know how dedicated you all are, and holding space for this to happen continually is just remarkable. You are all remarkable. Deep bows to everyone out there watching and creating this experience together through all that we've been going through together.
Oh, Michelle, are you seeing the visual right now?
Yes.
Okay, so give us a thumbs up once it starts, and if there's a problem, give me a thumbs down.
We have entered an extraordinarily rare interval in human history, a choice point in our collective journey, a space between the past and the future where the lives of countless generations ahead will be profoundly impacted by the choices we make now.
I believe it is both subtle and large, and something else so extraordinary that there's almost no name for it, because a new human species is ready to emerge.
Participation in this transformation involves collective attention and communication on a planetary scale. This creates coherence and clarity of direction. Simply put, it is the HoloMovement in motion.
It is the great universal source itself, herself, ourselves. It says it is time to wake up now. It is time to do and be what you were born to do and be.
We are going to let the credits roll because there's so many people that we want to acknowledge that are a big part of this. And again, you can go to the holomovement.net and start tracking what we're doing. Of course, Kristen Hoffman is who wrote, produced, and engineered it. She's in the room, so I'm going to try and bring her in so you can say hello to her. Manuel Kunzelman is such a gem. He's in the room. We maybe can bring him in. Source of Synergy Foundation. You also have Reverend Deb Moldau earlier today. She is kind of like at the head of all of the Source of Synergy Foundation. So there we go. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of us, because this is happening because of what's happening on the planet with all of us right now. And I have to give a shout out to David Bryan, who co-produced this video, and to my partner, Paul Geluso, who created beautiful spatialization of just elements of this that helped us take it to another level too.
I'm going to read some of the comments, you guys, and continue to give us more comments. Wow, are you kidding me? This is absolutely magnificent. And look at all the emojis from Carol Craig.
Thank you, Carol.
George writes, chills eliciting. Someone with an iPhone writes, what an amazing creation. Gene Houston. Oh, by the way, Gene Houston zoomed into our conference today for half an hour, gave an amazing, heartfelt talk with us directly live today. Anyway,
So beautiful.
She writes, what an amazing creation. Gene Houston, Kristen Hoffman combo is the ultimate combination of cosmic creativity. Laura Chamberlain writes, I hope that everyone in these discussions are aware that the globalists will try to dominate this holomovement after its birth. Please do not allow it to be taken over. We will do our very best.
Thank you.
Completely covered with goose pimples. Definitely chills.
Yay.
Dorina Joy down in Ecuador writes, another heart, peace, and true anthem of love, the cosmic voice of Kristen, with a wonderful holomovement creation video and a feast to the body, mind, soul, and spirit. Laura Chamberlain writes, I was making a joke. Okay, that's something else. Thank you for sharing this wonderful video. Ayada writes, I am close to speechless. What a masterpiece. Stunningly heart-opening, soul-affirming. Grace writes, Gene Houston and Kristen Hoffman and everyone are so beautiful, creating a stunning visual of truth from Christy. Sylvia and Nitya write, Rhiannon, thank you for responding to my butterfly. Live long and prosper.
How could I not? Live long and prosper. And always dance with butterflies. That was a beautiful, beautiful moment to share with you. I really want for your spirit is so glowing across the miles. So it's really nice to connect with you.
Can you find Kristen and bring her in so people can acknowledge her?
I will do my best.
And let's bring in Marty Casey.
Yay.
And Peter. See, Marty. Peter Cook pulling up. We're all going to squeeze in here.
Everyone.
Hey, everybody. Well, you all know Marty Casey because she's been on the show a lot. Come close to the light, Marty, so we can squeeze you in. There we go. That way we can get everybody in. Marty and Peter.
Peter, I was on there once.
You were, and tell me your last name again.
Matisse.
Matisse, yes. I remember now. So come on in, and close the door. Will be probably about 10 minutes. Because they just had a seat. Yeah, have a seat. Absolutely. Marty, tell us what the holomovement means to you. Like, what has your experience been?
Oh, wow. It's really about bringing every heart, mind, body, and soul together. That's really what it's been about. And finding your space and your place. You don't have to change who you are, but you do have to be able to connect with others so you don't shift who they are, but we connect. It's really connecting the heart. That's what it's really been about. I have not met a lot of the individuals that have been here in the last couple of days, but I feel like I've been knowing them for a lifetime because we're connecting with our heart, not necessarily with our backgrounds.
Our egos.
Yeah, or our egos, or even our life experiences. There's so many, times that we bring all of who, the good, the bad, and the not so cute with us in spaces, and it just shifts everything. But when you clear that and you just release it and you walk into the newness, like we hit the reset button, and I love it. This is one of the things that I said to Deborah over lunch today. And she says, I hope that I can quote you. So I want to share what I said to her. For the first time in my lifetime, as a 52-year-old Black woman, I feel that peace is possible. Just by being here in the last 2 days.
Thank you, Marty.
It's the truth.
That's powerful.
Feel like it's possible.
We'll get more on Marty in a moment. But Peter, what has this been like for you?
First of all, I want to acknowledge you, Marty, because 50 years, we're all carrying now around so many things in our lives that we've gone through. And to come to that point where we feel that connection, the peace, that's actually possible is so healing and so beautiful, not just for yourself, but to be in your presence and allowing me to do the same. So I want to thank you for that. Really want to thank you,
Peter. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. I was just thinking, for me, we all have our paths in life, and there are so many fires burning all around the world, whether you do it through a church, whether you do it through your business, whether you do it by yourself, reading a book, millions and millions of little fires burning. And this is the time where we need to bring them together to build a real bonfire, and to take all these little sticks and put them to combine them so they become unbreakable, so that we become a force in the world, not for anything, but a force for love. And so it's a big challenge for us, but there's nothing that we can do wrong, because we cannot extinguish the light that's already there. It is an eternal light. So how can we just fan the light? How can we assist everyone in this movement to come together and shine their light in the brightest way? That's, for me, what this movement is about.
You know what? I love what you just said about the force. It kind of reminds me of what life has been feeling like prior to. It felt forceful, but now we get to be the force, to be the light, to shine the light for others to find their way, to be a part of the whole movement.
Yeah. I feel that's the stage we're in, where we're coming from this, I call it stage 2, where we want more money, we want more fulfillment, we want more happiness, all these kind of things, but they're coming from a wanting. And now we're moving into the space where we are just being and life.
Being, I love that.
We're not creating life, but life actually flows through us. We become a blessing.
Peter, we need to pull that in the room tomorrow. Move from the wanting to the being.
That's a good one. I'm going to read some comments, and I'm going to ask each of you, share with the audience what you're doing outside of the HoloMovement, maybe about Ungun, whatever you're working on. But I just want to read some of the comments that are coming in. There's quite a few beautiful ones coming in.
Yeah, see a lot of
Laura Christy writes, love Dr. Casey. Laura writes, wow, that is beautiful. George writes, could this be the great reset? Not what the elite had in mind. Peace is possible. Carol writes, what a beautiful sentiment. Believing peace is a possibility is a huge step forward. Ayada writes, I really feel you, Marty. And I'm feeling also that tonight feels like a game changer. After the buildup of the last 3 years and many decades of light, love, work from so many of us, wow, I am just blown away tonight. Thank you, Ayada. Grace writes, heart meeting heart, peace is possible. Dorina down in Ecuador writes, I foresee, feel, and anticipate that peace is not only possible, but imminent and inevitable. Laura Chamberlain writes, may the force be with us all. Grace writes, inner fullness transformational. Susan is weeping. Eleanor Joy says, life is flowing and creating through us. Yes. And Wolf writes, we are in the world, but not of it. Spirit is our origin. So thank you, everybody, for your comments. Marty, what are you up to?
Well, I have a company called Ungun Institute, where we help individuals disarm their personal trauma. And I believe that that's really important. And that's really the reason, my why of joining this whole movement, because I look at this as almost being on a spectrum. And we know where we want to go, right? We know that being or where the HoloMovement should take us as we join it. But we also have to remember where we're starting from so that we don't leave anyone behind. And I do know that there are a lot of individuals that I work with who really live sometimes in a place of hopelessness. And when we live in a place of hopelessness and you don't value life or even your own life, it's easy to take someone else's. We're not here to infringe upon anybody's gun rights. That's not what Ungun is all about. But it's helping individuals to understand we all have been hit with trauma bullets, if you will. And if we don't ungun those trauma bullets and put that safety lock on our spirit, then we can easily react from a place of violence. And that's what we want to change. We want to change the spirit of man so that we can lead them into loving themselves so that they can be able to love others.
Beautiful. And it's unguninstitute.org.
The Ungun Institute LLC. So unguninstitute.com is our website. Please go and find out more about it. We're doing workshops. We're working in schools. We're working with different organizations, police officers and churches, everywhere we can to do the work. So I thank you, Scott, for always sharing.
What did I get wrong?
Unguninstitute.com.
Unguninstitute.com. Oh, I got an I in there. That shouldn't be in there. There we go. Hopefully we got it. Ungun Institute.
Well, that's on Facebook.
Facebook. Okay, so we'll start on Facebook. Yeah. We'll start there.
That's fine.
So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at. People can join, and we're on 130 Facebook pages and channels right now. So those of you on Facebook, you can look up Ungun Institute, and there is
Finding Your Happy. This is so many. I mean, we, as you see some of those pictures there, it's me at the Oscars and receiving the Lifetime Presidential Award from President Biden. And so there's
so proud of you for that. I remember you had you on the show right after you had gotten that.
Yes, thank you.
Wow. So, okay, and now I'm going to go to the Ungun Institute website, hopefully. Oops. Well, Ungum. That would be
UNGUN Institute.com.
Did I get it this time?
Not quite.
Is that institute spelled right?
I'm missing an M. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna try again, kids. Hang in there with me. Ungun
Institute.com.
Yeah, come on. There we go.
And so, you know what? That piece that just came up, I actually just received one of the community grants, which I'm very, very proud of because I didn't apply for this. Because of the work that we're doing, they recognized, they saw the work, They saw the evidence, and they said, we want to just be a blessing to you. And I was one of the recipients.
Oh, that's beautiful. Congratulations.
Yes, we want to continue to show up and do the work.
And there you are.
You speak your truth.
Yes.
And it shows.
And it shows. And that's what the HoloMovement's all about, right? We're just going to move in our truth and our mind and spirit. So yes, thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Everybody go to Ungun Institute. You can donate there. And Peter, tell us, what are you up to? What would you like the audience to know about you and your work?
I run the Conscious Business Institute this lifetime around. So
remember, we had you on the show with Urban Laszlo was on with.
Yeah. So I had the insight in 2005 that says Conscious Business Institute. It blew me out of my socks because conscious business wasn't around at that time. There wasn't a book, there wasn't anything. He said, okay, this is what I want to do with my life. So for any of you who are searching for a purpose, there is something out there that's waiting for you if you just walk the steps toward it. Mm-hmm. So we work with large organizations all around the world for the last 15 years, actually, and help them transform systematically to become more conscious. Does it work every time? No. But there are so many people yearning for that. Just a quick shout out to you down there in Ecuador, because we've just read about you. I just came back from Colombia, where I worked with a large organization that is in Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia, with about 80 of their leaders. And there's such a yearning for a different way to build businesses, where people can be themselves, where we can belong and create outstanding things together. So what we're looking at is how to actually create that in a systematic way, so that when you enter, you go through a certain thing, and then you come out and actually something has changed.
Is it institute.com?
Consciousness.institute.com, yes.
Hopefully I got it. No, where did I fail again?
Yeah.
Conscious, oh, I've got two eyes in there. Let's do. There we go. I think that's it. Is that it?
That's it.
Yay, all right.
It's a lie.
Wow.
And is there any particular place you want us to show our audience here?
Yeah, if you scroll way down, there are a couple of, there's a little video of an approach that you can use for yourself. So we don't need to play that, but you can check it out for yourself. And if you go way down, if you want to engage or get more information or look at some of the programs that we have for yourself, or if you work for a company, even further down there, there's a master program that we have. And then
who's that good looking guy?
Yeah,
and there's some people down contact.
Yeah, if you have any questions about it, just ping us, and Peter at Conscious Business Institute if you want to reach me personally. So would love to hear from you guys.
Peter, thank you for the work you're doing.
I was going to say, Peter, I truly, truly enjoyed you today and how you led us in the space. It was just really remarkable and amazing. I love what you said. I don't know if I'm allowed to share that piece.
Sure.
But I think it was, let me make sure I got this right. It was ask the questions of, it was, what did it start with? It was like, what is your, like, what happened? No, I got it. I got it. What happened? So what? Now what? Oh, that did it for me. I was like,
what happened? So what? Now
what? Right? Can you imagine before we do anything that you stop and you ask yourself that, like, what just happened? Like, process it. Just stop, breathe, and think to process what just happened. So what? Now what? That's a movement.
Yeah, even with the show, when the show concludes, ask yourself what happened in the show? So what does it mean for me? What strikes me? What sticks with me?
Yeah.
And now what's one thing that I want to do with it?
That's priceless.
God bless you both. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely, Marty. I've got it.
Okay, I'll grab them for you.
Okay, great.
How about that? Okay, bye everybody. Thank you, Scott, for all you do.
Oh, Marty, I love you so much. Oh, thank you.
I came in when you said.
Well, everybody, I have another guest who's about to come on in a moment. After that's Marty.
There was stuff going on there.
Boy, there's a whole lot going on out there. We are going to wrap up fairly soon. I guess maybe while I'm waiting for him, I do have another light touch video that I'm going to play. Hey, if you guys can whisper, let's whisper. That'd be great. And I've got a light touch video that while they're whispering and saying goodbye, thank you, Jay Mayer, for this. And here we go. Hopefully this is going to play. Almost sure, give me a Hey, everybody. I have my next guest. I just met Brett at the conference, didn't know each other before. And he showed a clip from the wonderful movie called Tomorrowland. And it grabbed me because I love that movie. And you've got all these different sub-personalities as a coach. I work a lot with clients about subpersonalities.
It's so great to discover each other.
Yeah, but I love. He was, of course, we're all big fans of Buckminster Fuller.
Yes.
And you've got a wonderful takeoff on Buckminster Fuller, which is
Brett full of it.
kind of like introducing him as Brett Mr. Full of It.
Thank you. First time, to some degree.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
It's so amazing that you work in that way, Scott. I like to say I'm on a hero's road trip instead of the hero's journey. I'm just here on this planet to deliver a rebirth of philanthropy and a complete system change of mental health because of my experiences. And I'm here to do it through the medium of speaking things into existence and what I call fractal impact entertainment. So how we take the idea of social impact entertainment to its most enlightened, highest potential, this immersive world of story living compared to storytelling for me. It's this immersive world of story living where we are the movie. We are immersed in our spiritual practice. You can use whatever word you like, but what I mean by this is we're having a damn good time. In serving ourselves and others, there's no difference. It's in the oneness. We don't need to say I'm serving the world. I'm serving myself. Logical conclusion of being logical conclusion of being the divine. We can always be in service to ourselves or others. It's irrelevant. So those are the things that motivate me. And Bucky Fuller had a notion called a trim tab, which was the idea that there's a small little piece of a boat rudder on the big rudder. And it's this small rudder that actually turns the big rudder that makes a big ship go in a different direction. So he believed in the idea of like the butterfly effect, that small changes, small perturbations in a system, if they're significant enough, can change the trajectory of innovation on the planet or humanity. So as an evolutionary philanthropist who's here to generate prosperity so I can flow that prosperity, I like to say, put it on my trim tab.
That's great.
Because I'm here to host, and that's my role, is to generate that level of prosperity. And I have no background having a lot of money or anything like that. So I'm not coming from some wealthy family. This is just my dream. Philanthropy means the love of humanity. So I'm not talking about the philanthropy we all know, I'm talking about all of us being philanthropists. And the power of philanthropy as a worldview, really, economically speaking, so we can get to that gift-giving paradigm, of co-creation.
Beautiful.
And I work in tech, and there's a million things we can talk about. But
and you have some brilliant ideas. We're in the same track, which we talked about earlier when Alan Steinfeld was here, all about media, and we're calling it visibility. And so I've really been enjoying some of your genius and some of your ideas. Our other guest that just joined us, and I also just met her, is Joni Carley, who wrote The Alchemy of Power. Tell us about this.
I will, but I want to pick up on Bucky Fuller first because
something you taught me, juicy fruit. I've been saying it ever since I picked right up on it.
Well, taking the lowest hanging fruit. And I said, that does nothing for me. I want the juiciest fruit. So Bucky Fuller was going to commit suicide. And he was at the water's edge. And he thought, if I can throw my life away, I can throw it into something. And that was the beginning of his greatness.
Wow.
What one person can do. That was his, when he realized that, he said, I'm going to do this experiment.
Yeah, so I can make it into something bigger than me. If I can throw it away, if it's no good to me, then I can put it to something else.
Wow. Jasmine Beer just came up to say hello. So she has been the belle of the ball. Literally, she's the only dog or four-legged that's along with about 80 of us. And really, people have been like, can I hold her now? Can I hold her now?
She's spoiled.
Yeah, she's definitely our little therapy dog. Now tell us more about the Alchemy of Power.
So the Alchemy of Power is a book about leadership. It's about the invisible factors of leadership. And the beginning of it is really about the metaphysics of leadership. So metaphysics is the study of causality. It's the philosophy and the science of causality. And we often really try to get at things at a more symptomatic level, right? We try to do projects, but we don't get at these deeper levels of causality. And when we work with those levels, then we have the capacity for alchemy. So we've always thought of alchemy as turning tin into gold, right? That's the old story of alchemy. But that's such a limited definition in terms of the human capacity for alchemy. So alchemy is two people get a recipe, one person's tastes different, right? Same ingredients, same recipe, but one person's tastes amazing. What's the difference? Alchemy. It's energetic, it's metaphysical. The same thing with leadership. You can get one leader who has all the same type of employees, all the same raw materials, all the same time. They produce excellence. Same thing across town. They're dysfunctional. They get the product in late. There's something wrong with it. The difference is the leader's alchemy, to make more than the sum of parts. That's alchemy, to make more than the sum of parts, which is pretty much the nature of human nature, right? 1 and 1, when you get people together, makes way more than 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking that extra something, and I call that something mojo. So we can put all the elements of a carrot in a lab dish, but we can't make a carrot because we don't understand that metaphysical magic, right? That causes life to live, that causes that bigger than just the ingredients thing, right? And so that's mojo. And I think the bottom line is to ask ourselves, how's my mojo? And in terms of making things work around you, how's everybody else's mojo going? You know, and mojo is that pizzazz, that spark, that something that's
juicy.
Juiciness.
Yeah.
That juicy food. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. I as a coach, I often find myself working with people, and I use the term mojo a lot to help them get their mojo back. I use that term all the time. Yeah.
That's the entire book is about mojo.
Wow. So here it is. Now, how do people get the book?
You can go on Amazon,
Okay.
and it's The Alchemy of Power.
I'm going to go find it while you talk.
Okay. And the first part of it really breaks down the metaphysics. And I use yin and yang to do that because even though yin and yang comes out of a Taoist technology, Taoist religion, it doesn't have a lot of cultural baggage with it. And it's really very objective. And it's also very fluid. So you have male, female, that's not so fluid. You have male is yang, female is yin. That's more fluid. There's a little dot of the yin and the yang part of the yin symbol. There's a little dot of the yang and the yin symbol. And so there's always a little of each in the other. And they're always turning one to the other. That's the Tao, right? It's always turning. And so it's working with that energy of the turning. And so you can capitalize on that if you get conscious of it. That's the whole thing, is consciousness. And that's what I'm doing at the United Nations. I work at the United Nations, and we're standing up for actually working with consciousness as causality.
Wow.
And saying, if we're going to accomplish the Sustainable Development Goals, we must locate a lot of the work in the domain of consciousness, because that's what's going to cause difference making.
Thank you, Joni.
Beautiful, right?
Amen.
So now to get Jonah's book, and I'll put her bio in. She sent it to me earlier, so I'll put it in the chat box. But here it is, right on Amazon. I'm going to get a copy, so I'm right now going. I'm going to proceed to checkout. I'm going to buy your book.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, it's called The Alchemy of Power. Come on, I'm trying to check out.
There is, we tend to think of power as power over, right? But power, energy is what we have power with. So energy, again, that mojo. Power is the capacity to either cohere or disrupt. It's nothing more than that.
Beautiful.
But if you're not conscious of the mojo to begin with, how are you going to cohere or disrupt it? And if you aren't developing your own consciousness, to what end are you going to cohere or disrupt it? What are you going to cause out of doing that?
Thank you.
And so holding that higher consciousness around what you intend to cause, that's what we need right now, because it's time to be causal in where we're going as a society. So that's the first part of the book. The second part of the book is really what's on a leader's desk right now, or a potential leader's desk right now, or whatever you want to lead in your own life, applying it. The third part of the book is that we are in a new paradigm, and if leaders don't catch on to new ways of leading, they're going to find themselves irrelevant, because the world is really shifting, and it's calling for a new approach to how we do what we do. It's calling for us to go deeper, to be more causal, to be more conscious. And again, it comes down to consciousness. No matter what, it happens in consciousness before it happens in the world. Consciousness is causal. We're back to metaphysics, causality. And so if you work in the domain of consciousness, then you have capacity to be at cause. And that's what makes you happy. When you cause the best results.
One of my favorite presenters who's been on the show many times is Reverend Michael Beckwith. He's a longtime friend. And on one of our shows, he talked about how anytime they're starting a new committee or a new project in Agape, they meditate on it first. They're very quiet. They don't do any external announcements, but they create it on the inner level. And then once they feel it, then they start doing the physical actions.
See, this gets overlooked. So often we jump to the project, we jump to the program, we jump to the action.
The object as well.
Yeah,
Bringing the scientism and the materialism, we jump to the perception rather than the perceiving.
That's right. We jump to these things and then we wonder why nothing's really changing, right? So if projects alone were enough, the world would already be there, because there are phenomenal projects. There are great things happening in the world.
But we have to change consciousness.
We have to change consciousness. And really, it's hard to do because we're so used to our metrics, how many mouths got fed. It's important to feed mouths. It's not that we need to talk about philanthropy. That's another whole soapbox. I ran a philanthropic foundation, and I've been on both sides of the check. Right? And most philanthropy is going into these projects that they're important, right? You want to feed kids. You want to put roofs on over people's heads. But if we don't fund the work in consciousness, if we don't flow the currency, if we don't juice, right, this other higher, if we don't pay people to meditate, I mean, that would change the world. Then you would need fewer projects to feed kids, because, that's what happens. It becomes more circular. It becomes less hierarchical. At the United Nations, there's a big motto, leave no one behind. But I'm standing up and saying, folks, who are we that there's such a thing as behind? Who are we that we allow that? And as long as the paradigm is set up that way, whoever we get out of the behind mode, somebody else is going to fill it, because it's wired that way. We've got to rewire into more circular, and there's great work. There's circular economy. There's great work being done on this. It just has to be instituted. But unfortunately, all the currency is flowing toward this old paradigm way, right? Because it feels good to put food in kids' mouths. So of course, and we need to do that. But that's, we've got to cohere at other levels. And that's really where we have to take these other levels of consciousness. And be big, bold, and bodacious. I have a whole chapter in that.
Big, bold, and bodacious.
Not
That's the model I use, where preposterous is the realm of the impossible. That's what it means in my model. That's what it means.
Well, you two sort that out.
Disregard.
I've been sitting here for 4 hours, and I'm hungry, and I want to see my friends. So I'm actually going to wrap us up. I do have.
Can you show me a link of the movie we're making?
Where would I find that?
www.
Second, let me go there. And while I'm doing it, introduce people.
www.togetherland.
Togetherland.
Togetherland, just like Tomorrowland, but Togetherland.
Life.
So when I saw that last 3 minutes of Tomorrowland, and I said, I want to create a real-time living sequel. What if this was real, not a utopian dream or projection? And I was working on an architecture and technology called—
Tell our audience.
Oh, sorry. I was working on a project called the Together Life System. I saw Tomorrowland, and I said, yes, Togetherland. And the tagline is, "This is our movie."
Oh,
This is
beautiful.
our movie to make. It's called Fact Impact Entertainment.
So I'm going to put this in the chat box for everybody.
And this goes back to your personality thing and making use of our multiple abilities to play different roles and have this wild imagination. And my path of integration on the hero's road trip.
Beautiful. So go check out that website as soon as we finish. We are going to do Global Peace Tribe announcements. Then we'll have a final song from Omar Shah to digest all of this. Thank you so much, Joni. Thank you so much, Brad.
Thank you, Joni, for giving me a Cliff's Notes metaphysics alchemy to help my work. Thank you. I learned something.
And for our friends back there, I am done for the night. I need to eat and spend a little bit of time. But maybe tomorrow morning on my Sacred Sunday show, I would love to have you and I'll have lots of time on the Sacred Sunday show. And Jasmine Bear needs to go for a walk soon too. So
I'm a bear too. That's my nickname.
all right. So I'm going to get us ready to go to the our special little video that we always play for Global Peace Tribe announcements. And like all of our videos, this was created by Jay Mayer. Thank you, Jay. Well, thank you so much. It's begin tomorrow morning.
You're muted.
What did I do with that, Omar Shar? Thank you so much, Omar Shar. And thank you all for staying with us. You've been with us for almost, 3.5 hours here. Ayada just wrote, Scott, this is one of your best shows ever. Thank you. I'm so inspired. All the guests tonight affirmed what I've been feeling very strongly since the beginning of this year. Thank you. That was my goal, is I really wanted for all of you to get a real strong taste of something very magical is happening. Last weekend, we heard from the Twin Ray and all about the astrology of this time, what a magical time it is for transformation, and transformation is happening. And it's happening in each of our own lives in our own unique ways. The big Global Peace Tribe announcement is tomorrow morning. I will, on the Sacred Sunday show, continue with more people from the HoloMovement, more evolutionary leaders. And I really want to invite people to come to the incredible retreat we're going to have next week. A lot of us are heading to Los Angeles after Sedona. There's going to be a big event on Tuesday, March 28th, that Ben Boulder's putting on. Ben's in the room in the party right now. On Wednesday, Pato and Antoinette are taking their friends taking all of us out to their land. We're going to do a land blessing, come back and do a big event on the beach. And then on Thursday, March 30th, the next Global Peace Tribe retreat begins. And we've got a lot of really cool stuff planned. We're going to have amazing music. Omashar, Bob and Pookie, Larissa Stowe. I just booked Tess Kempner today. We're going to have Shri and Kira doing some things. Many love coaches. Trish Wright, my co-host, you all know her from Wednesday nights. And I, Paul Sterling, Katrina Valancourt, and a whole lot more. And then Tangina's bringing in all of her friends that are psychics, all these psychics and healers. And we're going to have at our mansion, we got this incredible mansion that we've rented for the week. And that's where we're all going to come together. And you can get private coaching from one of the love coaches. You can get healing from one of our psychics or from one of our medical intuitives like Kimberly Meredith. So we still have availability. Come to Los Angeles next week. It's going to be really, really special. I will do my best to, for those of you who can't make it, carry it on the Awakening World next week. But sure would love to see a lot of you in person. It's been really beautiful being in person with people. And you could be in person with me and with Omashar, and Nitya, and Roger and Bonnie. Hey, they're there. I'm going to put Roger and Bonnie on. They're going to be with us. Excuse me. And many, many other friends. So it's been quite a show. Omashar, what do you think? And Margie Biller.
I just had to change my mic. It's as I said before, it's come from so many angles that my mind cannot really understand it, but my heart feels it, and I feel enlivened. We've been sitting here together for 3 3/4 hours, and I don't feel tired. I mean, I feel hungry, that's for sure. So I'm going to go and have a snack because it's already, what is it, 20 to 11.
I also want to acknowledge that Margie Biller is going to be with us, and we're going to celebrate her birthday on Thursday. It's her birthday on Thursday. And if she turns out, there she is. Here's our birthday girl. So come to Los Angeles for the birthday party for Margie, which also happens to be a Global Peace Tribe retreat. And it's a big one. I won't say which number, but it's a number with a 0 at the end. So it's a big one. Margie, we look forward to seeing you.
150.
Woo! All right. What do you got for us to close us out, Omashar?
Something to chill us out, man. So it's called The Way Things Are. I had to make up everything tonight on the fly because that's who we are. And I love that we're coming together. I'm so excited. And I guess the one thing that really came from tonight is I feel inspired to move forward, knowing that my action in the world, collectively with all the other candles and fires, is that which is changing the world as we speak.
What do you see when you're alone? What do you feel when you are by yourself? How could it be that you are here? Isn't it strange the way things are? Look at the river flowing by. Look at the colors of the butterfly. How do you feel about your life? Isn't it strange the way things are? Dolphin in the ocean, I can hear you calling me. Come on in, you say, the water's fine. I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend. I was just a thought away. There's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way. La la lam da. Now that you see you're not alone, and there is no such thing as by yourself. There is a hand that's lifting you into the presence of yourself. Life is a tale that never ends. There is a purpose to each heart that beats, and you are the river flowing by. You are the colors of the butterfly, like a dolphin in the ocean. I can hear you calling me. Come on and you say, the water's fine, I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend, I was just a thought away. And there's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way. La, da, da, da. Like a dolphin in the ocean, I can hear you calling me. Come on and you say, the water's fine, I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend, I was just a thought away. And there's a deeper love that's holding you, and is here to lead the way.
Going to gallery view one last time for the night. First, I'll twinkle and appreciate Omashar. There's Dia Therese and all of our friends. Thank you so much. And Omashar, thank you for being such an amazing co-pilot.
Dude, it's such a pleasure, really. And I look forward to tomorrow morning, even though it's only 3 hours away.
Oh my God, tomorrow morning. All right. Everybody get a good night's rest. Come join us at 10 o'clock in the morning. Maybe we've got several other friends that you didn't get a chance to meet tonight that hopefully you'll get a chance to meet tomorrow morning. This is Randall Aguero, who's sitting right next to me. So God's blessings, everybody. Take care. Have a good night's rest. We'll see you in the morning.